Hello and welcome to Grog Talk. I'm James.
I'm Dan.
And where are we from today, Dan?
Today, James, we are from the Black Pig Pub.
Black Pig Pub.
In the City League in Eleanor.
Ah, yes, we have been here, not to this pub, but we've been to the City League.
We've been next door at Ford's Inn.
Oh, really? Ford's Inn? Well, yes, another fine establishment.
And this let me tell you, this place has a well-deserved reputation for good beer and good food served at sensible prices.
Sounds like a commercial. That's wonderful.
Unlike some say, the Ford Inn. See, the Ford Inn, that's for the well-to-do. Exactly.
It's not the hoi polloi like here.
Exactly.
I gotcha.
Right. If you're looking for a half orc, if you're looking for someone to do dirty deeds done dirt cheap.
That's right. This is a reasonable price.
At a reasonable price assassin.
That's right. Which we've talked about. That's good.
The Ford's Inn assassins. They're way too expensive.
Yeah, you're paying for all the other accoutrement. You know, the flair.
all that overhead.
Right. I don't need all that.
Unnecessary overhead.
I want the list. I don't want the list price. I want the value price.
Right. I will kill for you, but I will need a jeweled. I will need a jeweled scabbard.
That's right.
I only kill in white.
Right.
I need a new white, and so I need a new one every time.
And 50 gold pieces for a level 1 assassin to kill a 0 level person. That's the list price. So I wonder what kind of discount you can get here.
Yeah.
It's like 50%, 25 gold. I mean that's a lot of money, but to have someone assassinated and not worry about it
could be well worth it.
I think that could be a huge value.
Do you think assassins run specials during the holidays?
Like a Black Friday, literally Black Friday.
That's right.
That's right. People would be lined out the door. That would be interesting if there was at the Assassin's Guild a Black Friday special. And you see all the people lined. Hey, Joe, what are you here for?
You see your wife?
That's right. You're both there.
What's my wife doing here?
Oh, this is awkward.
What's that life insurance policy I have again?
That's right. Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be good.
2 for 1. That would be awesome. Hey, everyone's coming out. Good morning. Good evening. Hello. How is everyone doing? So we've got our dear friends
around the world.
Around the world. Yep. Show them that we've.
Yes. Okay. They're gonna be very excited. To show them that because they were concerned that we were being frivolous and wasting their patron money.
Patron money.
We want to be clear that we are not.
We're not
being frivolous and wasting your patron money.
Exactly.
Because I think Vic Dorso suggested.
Right. We need something.
We need some education. So we now will be able to figure. Wow! Did you know that's where England is? It's across the water.
Right. I always thought it was like I'm not. Yeah. That's interesting.
It is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. It's mostly blue. The planet. I really didn't think
how big that ocean is?
Right. Well, we may have to study that.
Should we you mean for like the next half hour?
Just gotta look at the globe in amazement how it works.
I'll just look at cities.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna randomly pick a city.
We did this.
No, randomly a country. Let's see. Okay, where I land. I'm in China, of course.
Of course. What was the other place?
It's so large. We're in China.
We're in China. Well, so it's never a waste. Hey, production. Oh, the camera center on Dan.
As it should be.
Well, as it should be.
Production goblin.
All right, we're going to move it. This is always sketchy live. Let's see. Now I've done it. There we go.
Oh, all right.
So the production goblin's here. We're changing things around.
Yeah, you're barely in there.
I kind of like being. I got to move over too.
Oh, you want to move on?
All right, hold on. Hello, everyone, fellow citizens of the Grog Empire. We've got a bunch of folks on. Let's see. All right, a little bit more. The problem is that's good. That's good because if I move it more, then I'm going to get the screen behind me. See, so it's okay. It's all good. Don't forget the squares are not. That's right. Much better. Thank you, sir. I'm not sure what knocked it off, but yes. So your patron money, thanks to our patrons, has gone to procuring a globe, and we have some new chairs. We're not sitting on. Apparently, we're going to be doing this for a while, so I got us some Black Friday chairs. Instead of getting assassinating you, I decided I'd get a chair for you.
It was close.
It was. If Office Depot opened at 6, the Assassin's Guild opened at 7. So I
you're
went there
like,
first.
I got to get moving. I was moving.
I went there first. So.
Well, I was gonna quit the show today, and I showed up and I found there's new chairs.
Yes.
And now I feel compelled to at least go for another couple episodes.
Right. Exactly. Oh, we are. This is just this. This has been a train wreck already. From
Be back soon.
No, we're good. We're good. So.
Okay.
So the screen's okay now. Everyone's out there. So we have our dear friends, and actually the production goblin is back. after going to Hogwarts or whatever they call it. He's
He
on.
got into. Are you sure he got into Hogwarts?
I'm not sure. What do they call that? It's named after someone, but it's not Hogwarts.
I think somebody online said they did a question. What do you need? What SAT score do you need to get into Hogwarts?
Okay.
And people were providing these answers. And somebody's like, it isn't real. And other people are like, yeah, we know.
That's right. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
That's what makes it funny.
That's right. Don't make it so ridiculous. Yeah, that's funny. So the production goblin is going to handle the chat today, so that's wonderful. We're very excited
to have him
about
back.
that. It is good to have him back. And so let's go over our announcements. GrogCon, we are still. You got the mouse?
Yeah.
Okay. So GrogCon, we're just hopefully next month we'll meet with Craig, our dear friend who actually facilitates the Crucible 9 now convention, and we're going to figure out what we're going to do. We're still deciding whether it's going to be in September, right? That was the last we heard.
So it's possibly could be September, could be a new hotel. So, but Craig's really working hard. Looks like he's doing a great job. Kudos to him because he handles all that heavy lifting, and we know how time consuming. We just did the little GrogCon part. Right. He's doing Crucible 9. Right. And so he's been working very hard, and so I'm really excited about that. It sounds like Crucible 9 is going to be really great. And please, for people who are coming to GrogCon thinking about it, be thinking about things you want to do because we'd really like to, I think, make it even better.
Yep.
My plan is to have, we're going to do a Dwarven Forge again. Lane Feathergill, the Master Dwarven Forger.
Yes, the Master Dwarven Forger. Yep.
Is going to be back, and he's going to be doing the ruins under the Tower of Xenopus.
Oh, okay.
I'll be running that one, and so it's going to be great. So we'll have a setup of that. So please be thinking of exciting things to do.
And if you want to run a game, send information to info@grogcon.com. If you run 2 games, then you get into the convention for free. That's been the rule. So it's also not expensive, and it's a lot of fun. We're actually looking at a number of events that we want to do. So year 1 went good, and we're going to expand on it.
And there's a variety of loopholes you can take advantage of. Like there's no set time for how long your game has.
Right.
Hint, hint.
That's right.
So
you could do you could rocks fall and you all die, and okay, thank you.
An incomprehensible death session.
Yes.
It'd be like 5 minutes.
By the way, have you talked to Carlos? We need to speak to him. I haven't seen him.
Because what I want to do is, and look, sometimes you need to tell me if my ideas are not good.
They're not good.
Thank you. I didn't want that much honesty.
Oh, okay.
Is I want to have like a massive incomprehensible death session, like at like 11 o'clock to like end one of the nights, where it's like 20 people.
Right.
And it's like, Asmodeus.
Right.
And and everyone's it's mayhem.
We'll spend 3 hours rolling up characters with complete backstories and then kill them off.
Or Carlos will have to roll it. That's right. No, Carlos will come. No, Carlos have to bring pre-gens.
Okay. I like it. I'm sure he's looking forward to coming back.
30
pre-gens he has to do.
He has 30 pre-gens.
Well, Vic has 30 pre-gens.
I know.
That's his claim to fame. He's ready for you.
Oh yeah, he has like a wheelbarrow that he brings out at conventions, just dumps all these.
I think we should have both of them do it because they have different style.
Oh.
They have a different flair. It could be in terms of Death Off or something.
It could be like Asmodeus and Orcus, like they're buddies. They're hanging out,
going for high score.
Exact competition. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
The incomprehensible, whoever kills more, Asmodeus.
That's right.
Or
in the shortest amount of time.
Yes, and then just a bunch of us, like level 2 halflings.
Or gnomes.
All gnomes. That would make you happy. Incomprehensible death. All right.
Gnome edition.
This is writing itself.
All right.
Incomprehensible gnomes. Right. Well, then you have to put in there.
Mm.
Then you have to put Kurtulamac in there, the kobold deity, right?
Right. Slaughtering them. Yeah.
It has to be like Kurtulamac, and I don't know.
It doesn't have to be all gnomes. It doesn't have to be completely gnomes. It's just some gnomes would be gnome incomprehensible death.
But then I think if you're gonna have a healthy dose of,
it could just be disproportionate. Well, it seems
Kurtulamac should be there.
I get you.
What do you think?
But then they would have a chance to live. That's the difference because he's pretty incompetent.
What? Who's incompetent?
Kurtulamac.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we have to go through this again. The white mole. Already, remember that gnome deity? He already crushed you. What didn't he sever the head off? Or no, he disemboweled that guy.
Of the stable boy.
The stable boy. It was Jim.
That's right, James the stable boy.
James the stable boy. Is Kurtulamac? You really want to? Do you know? You just mentioned his name. I think there's like a chance he appear.
There is a chance. Well, deities and demigods. You'd have to.
He is not incompetent. All right, let's move on.
Uh-oh.
You're crazy.
Okay.
I need my dice. You keep talking.
Yes, we do need
my
dice. So again, thanks for the chairs and the upgrades that we're doing. We're going to be doing some changes to the room here, and again, that's all due to the fact that people are very generous and helping us with support through Patreon. So we really appreciate that, and we spend it only for the show itself. Oh, thanks for bringing my dice back.
The Holmes base, well, they're not literally the Holmes base, they're the Gary Con ones, but I used it in the Tower of Xenopus since it was Holmes' basic rules. So thank you very much. Very cool. So you can also support us by clicking like and subscribing. That's also helpful. As far as heraldry, no heraldry today. I've got to update the website. I've got 2 or 3 people I've got to put their names on. And so let's start with our random encounter, I think is where we're up to next. Okay.
You have your books?
I do.
We have Medusa.
Lady Medusa, right?
Lady Medusa is still going.
Yeah, all right. So we'll do the Dorso roll.
Yep,
is that what we're doing? You want to do the Dorso roll?
Okay. 1 to 3 is Monster Manual 2, 4 to 6 is Fiend Folio. Flip it up around.
All right, let's do it.
Fiend Folio. There you go.
All right. Carlos would be happy.
Yes. Let's see, a D10. 2.
All right. Oh, I think we're clearly going to be. Oh, yeah. All right. Surprise, surprise. We're in a dungeon.
Nice. Any specific dungeon, or do I have to?
Oh, you got to do monster level. So hang on. So there's how many levels do we have?
10.
Let's see if you are right. My gosh. Yeah, you got it.
2. Oh, this is not going to be good.
That's going to be great.
Not for the person, not for the creature.
Oh, that's right. He's never going to take out Lady Medusa. Yeah. All right. We need a percentile.
Percentile? Okay.
Yeah.
11.
A giant centipede.
Giant centipede. Interesting.
All right.
With A, we got to go with what?
Poor guy. No So we can no longer say no centipedes were harmed in the making of this podcast. They are going to.
Page 14.
Okay, hang on. Can I quiz you?
Yes, you can. I'm sorry.
I would have gotten this right. Rarely do I get things like this right. But what do you think the frequency is?
I would have to say common since
Indeed.
they're everywhere.
So does that mean like you're in your house?
It is truly shocking how we're still alive.
Right.
We've made it to this age because there are giant centipedes everywhere and they're poisonous.
Yeah, so so it's like a big city, like just giant centipedes in your house. Just like in the corner is a giant spider.
Right.
Giant rats are all running around.
They're common. Every house, there's a 20% chance, whatever common is. 20%, right? Is that what it says?
Oh.
Frequency for common? What's the frequency in the monster manual?
You got to roll that like every 8 hours?
Exactly. Common is, 65% chance.
Yeah, where are you at? Oh, you're on
Under frequency, page 5.
Yeah, thank you.
It refers to the likelihood of a particular creature having encountered in a region or area where it might be an inhabitant. 65%. Literally, it should be.
And I want you to roll it every 8 hours in your home.
It's 3 times. Yeah, so basically, there's a centipede ready to kill us at any moment.
Right, and feral ghouls.
Feral ghouls, wild boars.
Feral ghouls suggest that there's domestic ghouls.
Right.
Like as pets.
Right. Well, you can't take them back from the ASPCA or whatever it's called. You can't go to the shelter and get a ghoul that's feral. There's nothing you can do about them. They will never be domesticated.
Yeah, that's right. But that means it'd be domestic, which is weird.
Right.
So, yeah, giant centipede. Okay, so,
baboons.
Oh, wow. And this is not good. Not only is there a 65% chance every 8 hours that you're at home that a giant centipede will appear, not just a giant centipede. You know what the number appearing are?
10 to 20.
That's a pretty good guess. 2 to 24.
Wow.
You open the door to that closet.
And they just pour out. No,
you got to take a shower
right.
or a bath. Like I said, you
crawl out of the thing.
Yeah. Okay, that's awful. Now here's the good. Now things get. There's some good news. AC.
9 or 10.
Yeah, it's a 9. So that's good news. Now they're fast.
Well, what's bad is they have better armor class than most humans do. Humans are AC 10 normally, so
that's right. Especially when you get run in the bath.
Right. Yeah. Ugh. God, that's horrible.
A 15-inch movement.
Wow, they're fast too.
They're fast. They have no lair.
They have no lair.
Oh,
they're roamers
without a country. Okay.
Yep.
They have no treasure, obviously.
Yeah.
They're not hoarding.
So they're terrible. They're terrible from a party perspective.
They don't do any damage, but of course they have a special attack, which we all know: poison. They're 1 feet plus length.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
a good amount.
And then plus, and that's That's just the smallest variety.
And 20 of them pop out of you. That's disgusting.
Do they have psionic ability?
I'm going to go with no.
They do not. Okay, I like this. This is a short entry.
Yeah.
These nasty creatures are found nearly everywhere. I love this. This is so Gygax. They are aggressive and rush forth to bite their prey. Why?
Right.
Well, I guess because they're hungry.
Yeah, I guess they're hungry and...
Oh, I forgot about their intelligence. They're not even animal.
Right.
So what do? They just act on instinct. They sense, like a mosquito. They sense and rush.
Yeah, they just kind of detect us, like they have, like you said, mosquito or some kind of, their hairs vibrate or whatever.
So they're like, so they're not like, they don't get afraid and run or anything like that.
No.
So actually, if it was 2 to 24, you're in serious trouble.
Yeah, well, there's at least, if average would be 6, about 13 of them.
Yeah, that's serious trouble.
Yeah.
Because one of those hits.
Well, and they have basically a 50-50 chance if you're a normal human. So yeah, you're going to get hit, and then you have to make a save.
So this giant centipede has a shot against Lady Medusa, though, doesn't she? Because she's not immune to poison.
No, not. That's right.
Okay.
Did you have something, Nico?
David Thompson asked if the centipedes can see, or do they use their antenna?
I think they use their antenna. That's what we're going with. So
I would think so too. Oh, look at those little pinchers at the. So we're on page 14 of the Monster Manual. So is that what they attack with? Their little pinchers back there, or what do they attack with?
I would say so.
So they're like a scorpion, you think? They're kind of like...
Yeah, I don't know enough about this. This is...
Why don't you know more about the giant centipede, James?
Because it's not necessary for me. No one asked me for how I died. It's supposed to be incomprehensible.
See, because, you
open the closet, 20 hit you, one of them died.
No. You know who Carlos Lysing, he would,
He would describe the death. We don't.
Death by giant centipede.
Yeah, I like it. Well,
I am so rooting for the giant centipede. That would be so awesome.
That would be.
That would be the biggest upset we've had yet.
Right. So
bigger than the, what's our biggest upset yet? Killing
the biggest
Scarlet Rose dying, going down.
Right.
Who killed Scarlet Rose?
The scorpion.
Oh, because of poison?
That's right.
Let's see. There you go.
Squidward or not Squidward. Stingley.
You got to take that out. We have to pay royalty.
Stingley. No, it's okay.
The SpongeBob. But in many,
I had a tick. It was I didn't mean to say that. I just had some kind of mental issue. It wasn't deliberate.
Yeah, is that a defense?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't mean it. They are aggressive and rush forth to bite their prey, injecting poison into the wound. Oh. They bite.
And then they inject, yeah.
Then they inject.
Wow.
And they're fat. Wow, so they bite in.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
That is pretty impressive.
Right.
But in many cases, this poison is weak and not fatal.
Yeah.
Add +4 to saving throw die roll. Boo. Also, as the centipede is small. Oh, look. There's a typo, I think. Do you see an extra comma there?
Yes. Also.
It's like a small comma.
It's for dramatic effect. Also. And then period, comma.
As the centipede is small, it is less likely to resist attacks.
How dare you say that was a
I know, I'm so sorry. Did he do the typing? Who typed this? Did Gygax type it himself?
Well, I assume he typed the original, but then he had some... Well, that's true. You know what? That's a very good point. That was her claim to fame. She had that on her business cards, if I remember correctly.
I typed the Monster Manual. Also, as the centipede is small, it is less likely to resist attacks, which allow it a saving throw. Oh. So it gets a -1 on saving throw.
Yes. So it's
because it's small. That's interesting. You would have to read that, obviously. I'm not suggesting you wouldn't read that, but if you just looked at that,
you'd never know.
You'd never know that.
Yeah, that's kind of important.
Oh, they come in many colors.
Yeah, pale to red to brown. So you want to roll with the colors, I'm assuming.
So if you run an adventure and you have a giant centipede, you need to be prepared.
To know
because I'm going to say what color is that giant centipede.
Right. Even though it has no change in what they do. They all work the same. But yes.
But it adds color to your game.
It literally.
Exactly.
I like it. Okay. So let's roll a d4. You can figure out what color it is.
Oh, okay.
I'm only saying there's 4. I'm not using all the hues between them. So
it's a 4. It's the last one.
Brown. It's a brown centipede.
It's a brown centipede.
Right.
Okay.
Just traversing.
Brownie.
Why are you naming them? It's much.
It hurt because it hurts.
It's much more tragic when they die horribly.
No, because I know Brownie's going to do it. Brownie versus the Lady Medusa.
Right. Okay. So
we all know this is going like one round.
It may not get to. Well, first of all, we have to roll surprise. This is the chance.
Wait, can I pray now? Shouldn't I get to pray now?
Yeah,
to
the
centipede god.
Centipede god, absolutely. Go ahead. Roll your 10%.
What are going to be the stats?
Huh?
What happens if it works? Do you find the deity that you think the giant centipede would?
I would say the centipede deity would send more centipedes.
Or like, what's so giant? What's the largest spider?
Why would a spider be involved?
No, my point. No, I'm trying to figure out like what is the giant humongous?
I think the phase one.
Like what would it be? Like a humongous centipede?
Yeah, a giganta.
Giganta. All right.
Gigantus.
All right, I'm rolling. Am I rolling?
Yeah.
10%.
Yep.
So I've been pious.
You're a very faithful centipede. 23. Not that faithful.
Are you just gonna step on me?
No, that's what should. Well, what? Oh,
Whoa,
I'm sorry.
What?
It's actually a megalo centipede.
Oh, there's huge and megalo.
That's right, megalo.
What's the size on that?
Medium, 5 foot
Oh
long.
my goodness.
Our colossal
Megalo.
cousins. They have virulent toxin. So that's the one you want.
That's what you do in this game. Is you just bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Megalo. That's why I was looking up in the Monster Manual because there's always some kind of weird, like there was a vat of nuclear waste. Monster Manual 2 is basically if there was nuclear waste, and all the creatures in the Monster Manual walked by it and they became megalo centipede.
Right. It's like things that would take on Spider-Man.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
I gotcha.
Because it's not big enough. The giant centipede's not big enough. We have huge and megalo. So apparently it's how many hit points is that? Well, actually huge is smaller. So it's huge, giant, megalo.
And what I like about it is the megalo has animal intelligence.
Yeah.
Megalo, that'd be a good baddie.
That would be the small animal that would come if the centipede god would get the megalo.
Yes.
Person would come. Okay.
Megalo, it's you. Right. It's Megalo.
Versus Mothra. I remember that movie. That was great.
Yeah.
And then Godzilla came and helped out.
Is there a giant moth in D&D?
There's got to be.
Yeah. If there is, someone's made it, right? But I think you just got to throw your torch at it, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
And it goes toward
or throw it away. Yeah. Just use dancing lights and have it go the other way.
That's right.
Have it go.
That's right.
Just go over there. You don't have to attack everything. That's part of.
So you could have a campfire and like a giant moth comes.
I assume basically, I'm not sure how humans survived in this world. That's really the question.
Well, this is basically what we're describing is going from one town to another in Vic Dorso's campaign.
Yes. That's right.
Okay, I roll the megalo.
That's right.
Centipede.
I just want to get breakfast. Nope.
Oh, man. No, you got to kill this giant moth.
That's right. You can't get through it. Okay.
Oh, but if you killed the giant centipede, you could eat it.
If you say so.
I think so.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. Is it time for surprise?
Yes, you have to roll surprise.
Where was Lady Medusa last? Who did she kill?
She was in the swamp. Remember, we were in a swamp and we killed.
Why wouldn't we be?
Huh?
Where else would a Medusa be?
This is why I have notes. So we were in the swamp. What did we attack? Well, she killed a noble, and then. What did she kill? Pseudo-undead. Wasn't the pseudo-undead?
The pseudo-undead.
That's right, that great band.
The band.
Pseudo-undead.
Our band, the pseudo-undead.
She killed the pseudo-undead.
That's who'll be doing the...
this will be the longest streak. If she defeats the centipede, she'll be the longest 3 weeks.
How many? So she's 2-0 right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So roll surprise.
Okay. I am not... Yes. Brownie is not surprised. Yes! Oh, and it's only one segment though. What a bummer. It could have been 2.2.
You get to you're gonna roll up there, and I will be gracious. Oh, I got to figure out the distance.
This is gonna be a Festivus miracle.
This will be the distance. Well, unfortunately, it's not that.
Oh, distance.
Yeah.
But wait. Oh, okay.
The Chamberlain, most august, who told me reminded me last week I have to roll.
I know. But wait, will I get an? What is it?
You won't get an attack. You're 80 yards away, 60 yards away.
But I have 15-inch movement outside.
You're moving to close.
So that's it?
That's you get to
move to close. So the surprise does nothing. You're surprised to see me there. Oh,
Lady Medusa.
You're surprised to see me coming?
And you become aggressive and you're moving towards me. It's moved
so
to
you're
close.
surprised I'm aggressive, basically, is the extent of that surprise roll.
Exactly. And the other advantage is I'm not going to make you roll the D10 to figure out if you get gazed.
I am so slow.
Well,
that's why who's asking if centipedes have eyes.
Yes.
Clearly they don't have. There's no eyes there.
Yes. Okay.
Do we need to Google that?
No, I'm going to allow that. That's why.
Didn't he learn that in school?
That's why I'm going to allow that the centipede does not have eyes.
I don't think the centipede has eyes.
Okay, so he cannot be gazed.
He can be stepped on. All right.
Yeah.
So That did nothing for me. I don't know why I got all excited. So now
Well,
we're just rolling for initiative?
Well, now it's initiative, yeah. So now I've gazed at you and it's like, oh, the stupid thing's not dying. So now it's initiative.
You're like crouching down. And, where are those eyes?
Come here. Look at
Yeah,
this.
no, I should get an attack. I should get a snap at you. You're kneeling down, inspecting me, that little
this
fella.
is why no one wants to be the dungeon master, because they try to follow the rules
I'm a pain
as
in
it
the
is,
arse,
and
I'm
you're
complaining.
just working on the
That's true. I'm working it.
For,
all right.
What's the name of this? Brownie?
Brownie.
That's right. Okay, Brownie.
Okay.
I got to write this down. Good. So now it's initiative.
Right.
Just win initiative.
I need that 6 again.
Yeah.
6.
6. There you go. 1.
1.
Okay.
I'm crushing you.
You get.
Does that mean I get 5 attacks?
No, you don't get 5 attacks. You get 1 attack.
All right.
And you do no damage. Your hope is you poison me.
Is this the die? Is this the die 20?
No, that's not the die 20. It's close, but it's not the die 20. So my AC is 6. No, AC is 5.
I need to know. You got to tell me because I need to know.
You need to know.
I need to know. This is so because this is it.
This is.
What is a Medusa attack? If you're not using your gaze.
I'm using my spot. I'm gonna attack you with my ass. It's poison on poison action here.
Oh, that's right. 1 at 1 to 4. Wait a second. You're sticking your head way down there.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe I don't know if you were on the ground. Perhaps I was sitting on a tree, relaxing after.
So you're like, well, how far out do your snakes go?
1 foot. Yeah, I got to get
1 foot. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna go around and bite you in your arse.
Yeah, that's that. That sounds like an attack opportunity. You need a 16 with your quarter hit dice.
Let's
that you
go.
are.
Oh man.
Make it happen. Feel the dice.
17. Brownie, brownie, brownie. We have a champ that has no intelligence, baby.
It's literally just like the show. This show is
the show.
like the
this
show.
is us. We're like giant centipedes.
We're literally non-intelligent. Okay.
I'm Meglio.
So now +4 to hit dice. All right.
Oh wait, so you get +4 to your saving throw. So what do we need to know this? So
Right.
You're +4.
+4.
You're like.
And I could argue because she's a poison creature, she should get more than that. But I will just.
Oh, how
use
does that
the
work? Well,
no, +4. Well, I'm not going to say she's immune to it.
Oh, is there any discussion about? I see what you're saying.
I've heard discussion about poison on poison. I don't remember, and so I'm not going to sit here and look that up. But people have that in the comments. I think she can be poisoned, so I'm going with it. I'm giving you a chance because it makes you super excited. So
I don't need a handicap.
So no, it's no handicap. We don't know, and I'm not. So she's a 6 hit dice creature. Means she gets 6 level fighter saves. 14, so it's 10.
You need a 10.
I need a 10 or above.
Is this the 20-sided?
No.
Okay.
That's close. 10 or above.
Right. So I want below 10.
Yes, you want below 10.
Come on, Brownie.
Oh, 11! Oh, so now I get to attack.
It's over.
12, I hit you. Because what's your AC 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Brownie.
Well, he has half a hit dice, so roll D8 and divide by 2.
Can I parlay?
It's not over yet.
I'm gonna
Power of the
parlay.
dice.
2.
So you have 2 hit points, and this does 1 to 4.
Wait, it's 1/4 hit. It's 1/4 hit
Oh,
dice.
I gave you. Yeah, so you have at most 2 hit points.
I have 1.
You have 1 hit point. You're dead.
That was close, though.
You've been crushed. Hey, the fact that you even got a saving throw, that's the beauty of 1E.
Oh, man.
The Medusa almost was 2 points away from dying.
Poor Brownie.
From that.
Yeah. I have newfound respect for giant centipedes, though.
They're nasty.
Right? I like them. They are nasty.
They are, and because death is quick.
So you know what you can say now when people are like, oh, it's just a giant centipede? You can go, hey, dude, I was there one time when a giant centipede almost took down a Medusa.
Right. One thing away.
So if the party can't take down a Medusa, we can be like, really? A giant centipede could take down a Medusa.
Almost. Well, and that's why they're nasty. And it's always exciting, the spoiler alert, that there's one in Keep Along the Borderlands, which is absolutely insane.
Oh, I don't remember. I run that. I don't remember.
We found her. Remember?
Oh, really?
That was near the execution.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant a giant centipede.
No. I don't know if there's a giant centipede. No, I meant the Medusa.
Right,
all right, very good.
But no, that was not good. That was very disappointing.
So this is week 3. That's pretty impressive.
We should do odds and have gambling in advance.
Well, they would have to know who the other creature is.
Well, but after you know it, then we would announce the odds.
Okay.
Because if that giant centipede had won, people would have gotten rich.
Right. Yeah.
Don't you think?
Oh, that would be a huge upset.
Yeah. All right. What a bummer. But it just goes to show you poison.
It's a game changer.
It is a game changer.
Well, or any special attack, gaze attack, poison, anything that can through the luck of the through saving throw.
Right.
Because of the fact that 1E is save or die. It's not. Future games you can either get multiple saves or there's I think in 5th edition or some later editions. You don't get killed right away. You start turning to stone, and you get another save. Or
you
something
get.
Like that.
I think. Well, we've talked about this before. I think you get. They say it's like takes effect in a round or so.
Right. Yeah.
It's not immediately dead.
So it's you're still there's no second save it's literally the one dice and that's it.
Unless you have like a cleric with the spell, you're done.
Well, in the poison, you either slow poison or you have, and Doug always brings this up since we're completely segueing.
No. This is still related to the giant centipede.
True. So in the back
now smushed.
of the Dungeon Master's Guide, it talks about herbs and their medicinal properties. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
herbs,
I do.
Appendix J, herbs, spices, and medicinal vegetables. So when you have really old school players.
Yeah.
What have you done?
Well, there's also a reference to poison. Go ahead.
Okay.
There's something in here
very
too.
good. I love it. So here it says... so I think is it belladonna? Yes.
Yes. Is reputed? Yes.
Yeah, it has reputed poison lycanthropy cure. So immediately, and holy water, I think, will also slow down poison. But it's like one turn for every holy water you drink or something to that effect. So inevitably...
Oh, so holy water will slow down.
As far as I know. Well, it doesn't say it here, but it says in another area, if I remember correctly. But here it says belladonna has a poison lycanthropy cure. Now, of course, you could argue this would be an ingredient to be put into a potion of, sweet water or something like that. But Doug, our good friend who plays in my game, he always is, working the refs to try to say, hey, can I shove some belladonna in the wound there to try to give him a added save or something to that effect. So
yeah, and maybe that's what I'm thinking of, because I don't know why. For some reason, I thought deities and demigods, but that wouldn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, I remember seeing that belladonna was. I remember reading somewhere it says is reputed.
Right. Well, these are use and or powers, and it says there are 100 different vegetable flavors. Blah blah blah. It's to pursue research and scholarly text. There are also tea. It has a poison antidote as well. And so again, you have, if you wanted to be nice as a dungeon master, you could kind of come up with some kind of home remedy that the party goes to seize the alchemist or the witch, the witch on the side of the road or whatever, and that they can have some kind of anti-poison cure that keeps them alive for, similar to a slow poison or something like that.
Yeah, so that is very interesting. Yeah, because that does create a little bit of confusion. I guess so. I guess that just gives the DM the opportunity, if they want, right, to.
But yes, I read somewhere, and I'm sure one of the people on the chat, it says that holy water will slow poison for like a turn, and it's like 25 gold pieces. It's pretty expensive for holy water, so it's still kind of out of the reach for first level people.
Right.
Which is okay. All right, so spell selection.
Let's do it.
So you roll your percentages. Which, by the way, I look back at the tape. Remember when we were giving out our dear friend Minion his title?
Yes.
I won't say it. I did make a mistake, but I was very happy with his title.
Oh. Well, there's no instant replay.
There is instant replay, but we're not changing it. So
that's right. There's no rule that permits instant replay to reverse the.
So that's
59.
a magic user spell.
And now it's for illusionist, right?
10% or less. Nope.
96, and so now there's 10, right?
Yep. Well, there's 9.
I mean, there's 9. So I'm rolling.
8th level.
Whoa. Going to places I've never gone before. You know what came up on one of the Facebook posts was someone was asking, what do people think about giving magic users additional spells per day based upon their intelligence, similar to clerics with their wisdom? And I remember you saying that you had done that.
I do that.
And you like it.
I like it because I don't understand why they don't. If you're going to do it for wisdom, and the thought is because they're more wise, why wouldn't you do that for intelligence?
Right. Okay. 16.
So a D8 and a D something, yeah.
Right? D8. So many dice.
This is the fun. This is half the fun for me, watching you
figuring out how to.
dice.
They all look the same,
Right.
and the only one I think I'm consistently able to get is the 4-sided.
Yes.
If I'm like, is that the 4-sided?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be good.
Then we know it's all over for you.
Okay, a 1.
One.
1, right? All right. Antipathy/sympathy.
Ah.
Wow, that I got to tell you, just off the bat, that doesn't strike me as a name, right?
Yeah.
I would think something like, thunderclap or something,
Right.
or
Destroy World.
Immolation,
Right.
Destroy World. Yes, exactly.
I'd like to cast Destroy World.
I want people to have sympathy for me.
That's an 8th level spell. Well, this is a long spell.
Oh no.
Yes.
Can we reroll? Oh, it is. Gary, you're killing me. All right, this spell allows. Do you know? Let me just before I start reading this. Are you familiar with this spell?
It's kind of a summon thing where you can attract and either repel or attract people to your cause. And that's the short
so you get like a ton of people.
Yeah,
I better get more
sorta.
than one for 8th
Yeah.
level. All right. This spell allows the magic user to set up certain vibrations, which will tend to either repel or attract a specific type of living, intelligent creature or characters of a particular alignment. The magic user must decide which effect is desired with regard to what creature or alignment type before beginning the Duomer crafting. For the components of each application differ. The spell cannot be cast upon living creatures. Antipathy. The Duomer causes the affected creature or alignment type to feel an overpowering urge to leave the area or not touch the affected item. If a saving throw versus magic is successful, the creature may stay/touch the item, but the creature will feel very uncomfortable, and a persistent itching will cause it to suffer the loss of 1 point of dexterity per round the area or item is remained in or touched, subject to a maximum of 4 points. This is so long. Failure to save versus magic forces the creature/alignment type to abandon the magicked area or item, shunning it permanently and never willingly entering or touching it until the spell is removed or expires. The material component for this application spell is a lump of alum soaked in vinegar. All right, so it's hard for me to comprehend when I'm reading aloud. Right. What just happened?
So if you wanted to put some kind of magic on an item or an area to prevent those creatures from going there, you could do that. You basically curse the area against a certain creature alignment type. So if you didn't want good people to come here, let's say, or a bunch of evil was coming, you knew they were lawful evil, you could put it around an area and they would not be able to stay in there.
So I have to pick a particular, I can't just pick evil though. It sounds like I have to pick.
Well, it says here an alignment. So alignment is not just evil. You have to put an alignment, so that's 1 of 9.
That's very narrow.
Yes, or creature. Specific type of living creature.
Now it can't be cast upon a living creature, so I'm casting upon an
area
or
thing
or a thing.
Yep.
So it really is to protect. So I've got the scepter a lagu.
The 1 ring.
Right. Remember, like the scepter.
And you're keeping the Nazgul out.
Right.
Yep.
So okay. So right. So the one. Right. So the 1 ring. Oh, that's very clever.
There you go.
So I've got the 1 ring.
Yeah.
Oh, so can it move with the item? So if I give it to Frodo, so I can cast this thing on an item. It's only going to last 12 turns per level, but you know what? So
12 turns per level. You're 16th level when you cast this. So this is
turns 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. So it's 2 hours a level. So it's more than a day.
So we know it's the final push.
Right.
So let's say Gandalf has made it to very close to Mount Doom.
Yeah.
Oh wait, maybe I shouldn't give this away.
Gandalf.
Should I give away what's happening here?
I don't know if you remember the story correctly. I don't think he's ever.
I know, but I said if he got there.
Oh, I guess.
So if he's close, if he had made it there, right?
Right. If he was 16th level, there's the argument that he's only.
He's like
4th.
Level.
Right. He's like 6th level magic user. If he found a scroll of antipathy. And he cast it on the ring, on the ring.
That final push to get him.
Yes, exactly, and to keep the Nazgul away, or the orcs, the orc horde. They would have to make a saving throw, and then they would lose dexterity. They would basically become uncontrollable itching.
Oh, you do get a save though. Oh, very uncomfortable itching.
Yeah, but it's dexterity point per round.
Oh, very nice.
So if you lose all your dexterity, you can't attack. Oh, you basically attack at minus something.
So it's like a turn spell, but like a little.
Yeah.
It's like turning, but you put it on a little item. Okay, so that's not bad. I mean, I guess it's pretty specific. I'm not taking that into a dungeon with me just in general.
No, absolutely.
Okay.
And then the sympathy is the other way.
By casting the sympathy application of the spell, the magic user can cause a particular type of creature alignment of character to feel elated and pleased to be in an area and with the prospect of touching or possessing an object or item. Oh, do you think that's what happened to Boromir?
Yeah.
Maybe he failed his save
Kind of
versus
attract-
sympathy.
That's right.
The desire to stay in the area or touch/possess the magic object or item will be overpowering. Unless a saving throw versus magic is made, the creature or character will stay or refuse to release the object. If the saving throw is successful, the creature or character is released from the enchantment, but a subsequent saving throw must be made from 1 to 6 turns later. And if this one fails, the affected creature will return to the area or object. The material component of this spell and 1,000 gold piece worth of crushed pearls. Oh, I love it. Oh, and a drop of honey. I always wondered in the halls of Tizen Thane, there's a guy, he's dead.
Right.
And it lists his equipment, and it says a pot of honey.
Right.
I can never figure out why that dude would be carrying a pot of honey.
He has maybe casting antipathy.
I searched all the spells looking for honey spell components. I obviously just skipped
This
because
is
it's probably
why
so
we're
long.
here.
This is why we're here.
On minute 35, this is why we're here.
Yeah, so if anyone can, so you think he was going to have a sympathy spell. So what does this do? So wait, so this is to enchant someone so they protect an item?
Right.
Got it.
Or they stay here and help protect it, and they want to keep touching it, or they want to be part of the area.
Got it. Note that the particular kind of creature to be affected must be named specifically, i.e. red dragons, wow, hill giants, were-rat, lamusa, giant centipedes.
Giant centipedes, not megalocenipede.
No.
Centipedes in general will not work. You have to decide what centipede.
Right. Oh, I meant large. Oops.
Oops, exactly.
It's only, what is it? Catoblepas?
Catoblepas. That's the thing that gazes at you and
is that the picture? Is that the Sutherland picture? Yeah. No, it's a Trampier picture. Is it Sutherland? No, it's Trampier. Trampier? How do you pronounce that? The guy
the one in the player's handbook. Right?
Trampier, right?
It's in this one, right?
I know, yeah.
Somewhere right in the beginning.
Yeah. Because I asked why the guy was turning away, and he said, well, because he doesn't want to be looked at.
The death gaze.
The death gaze, right. Vampires, etc. Likewise, a specific alignment type for characters must be named. You know, the problem I've got, can permanency work on this?
Page 14. You know what? We do think alike. We've been spending a lot of time together. I looked up.
We're learning the rules. I'm learning way too much. I'm not saying I know a ton of rules, but
it doesn't say it here. But I would totally allow that to happen. Though I'd probably have them lose a Constitution point if they did that, because that would be amazing. Because
the permanency. The problem with this spell, of course, is the duration. I understand that it's like, because really what you want to do is you want to be able to take a vacation.
Right.
You're the wizard, and you're like, I want to take a vacation.
Right.
And you want to like
it's
protect
only good
your
for
stuff.
a day, plus
that's no good. That's a short vacation.
Right.
That's a day trip.
So yes, it doesn't say it on here as the list of things, but there's similar ones. I think the problem typically is because this is an 8th level spell and permanency is an 8th level spell. That's why they would be like, it's not going to work. But
right, this spell's like, I don't think so.
Right. Yeah.
I'm 8th level.
It's too powerful. Because then they're going to want everything like glass, steel, and maze to be permanent.
Your whole house, everything.
Right.
Oh, how about? Oh, can you do the house? What's the area?
Oh, it's huge. Wait, just keep reading.
If this spell is cast upon an area, a 10-foot per side cube, I'm so terrible with this, can be magicked per level of experience on the magic cube. So what level do I have to be to do 8th level?
16th.
So 160
cubic feet.
Cubic feet.
Right.
So what does that mean? That means 160 feet each side?
No.
Oh, sorry.
It would be like 30 by 30, 20 by 20 by 20, 25 by 25 by 25.
So I can do a room.
Like a room or a house or something like that. Small house.
Oh, so if I know assassin, so if I'm a little nervous, every day.
Right.
Before I go to bed.
Right, I'm learning that. I'm spending 10 hours in prayer just to protect myself for a day, yeah.
Listen, you'll do it. You know the
Absolutely.
assassin's coming?
Exactly.
Send it in the that's where I would send in the giant centipedes. As an assassin. Wouldn't you have like a backpack of giant centipede? They're aggressive.
I think that's a James Bond movie. Didn't they do that with the assassin? They instead of just straight out shooting James Bond,
you send them down the chimney instead of Santa.
Right.
Christmas Day. You come down there,
what?
Open up presents.
I don't want to go to your house on Christmas Day if that's your idea of fun.
13 giant centipedes.
That's horrible.
And that's unlucky. That's exactly what I would do too.
13.
Yesterday I'm a gnome, illusionist assassin.
Did you survive yesterday? Are you triskaidekaphobic?
Oh, that's right. That's fine. I am not.
Good. Neither was I. We survived.
If an object or item is magicked, only that single thing can be enchanted. Okay, I get that. So not the stuff inside, right?
Yeah.
But affected creature character save versus magic, they're on. Oh, at -2.
Nice.
We need to check the DMG to see if there's any discussion.
Oh, that's true. And what is people saying on the chat? Production Goblin.
Yeah.
they're talking about deities and demigods.
Oh, deities and demigods. Well, we may have a surprise about that too.
Earlier we were talking about dual class armor.
Ah, well, yes,
Magic users.
I'm glad. See,
Are they paying any I think they just come here to talk to each other.
well, what's good is they're actually staying on the topic, which is dual class and multi-class.
They've taken over.
Yes, they've decided they're never going to get.
Nico's
to this
being
topic.
nice. He's not telling us that they said, "All right, they're off the rails. Time for us to take this over. Go back to Wasn't this about multi-class?
Yes, that's supposedly what we're going to be talking about. No, there's the book is silent on 8th level spell.
Can't cast permanency on creatures, David Thompson.
Yeah.
You can't cast permanency on
Creatures.
Okay. All right, so nothing on the 8th level. Wow, it stops at. Oh no, it doesn't. Sorry. Yeah.
All right. So
You know what this means when it's not in the book. You know what it means. Gary's players weren't abusing this spell.
Right.
It was already basically kind of wimpy.
Right.
He's like, there was no problems with that spell. No, right? No.
Right. People used or it was used for a certain thing, like we were saying, to protect the keep or attract a magic item or something to that effect.
And he's like, all right.
It's good, but I go back to looking at the other 8th level spells. Is this the one I'm going to carry around? This would
certainly not carrying around.
This would be a scroll, probably.
A scroll because you know the one you're going to find the one ring soon.
Maze is to me permanent. Maze would be the one I'd monster summoning. It's to me those are the from 8th level. 8th level is not as super cool as some. Symbol's good, but the 8th level is more of a utility thing. They're not combat related, so
yeah,
as much as other ones. So
no, you like to delayed
blast fireball.
That's your spell.
That is my spell.
If there's a scroll in your stocking, that's what you want.
That's right. Well, it checks all the boxes. It's high enough level where global invulnerability. The only thing that can protect you from it is anti-magic shell. That's it.
What about a cube of force?
Or a cube of force potentially. Yeah.
Aren't you impressed?
That is very good.
I learned that from Aurelian.
Huh?
From Aurelian, Dave.
Yes.
Dave.
Cube of force.
Cube of force in there.
But that'll protect you for one time. I think with the cube of force, it when you hit it with things like that, it absorbs points, and eventually it's like a force field. It's like the planetary shield.
Right. Eventually it's gonna Okay.
Well, very good. So we're now here to talk about in our word of recall segment, multi-class and dual class. So we have finished all the classes.
Yes. Oh, and you know what? Yes, we have. And you know what? I just want to mention something. I'm reading the book. Actually, you got it for Edward, and I stole it from him. Dice and Men.
Dice and Men, yeah.
And there's a reference, and I think this is not accurate, is my guess, is that it says that...
So we just trashed the book that we just talked about, but okay.
No. It's a great book. But it has a reference, and look, and maybe it is correct, I don't know, but there is a little mention in there where rumor has it. Well, so I guess rumor would be
It's a rumor.
If it's true. I say it's a rumor.
That's a good way to put the rumor.
It's a way to avoid defamation.
Rumor has it I've done a marathon, whether it's true or not. But
right, that's the way.
You can throw this stuff out without actually being true.
Can you avoid that way? Can you avoid defamation that way? Hey, it was true. It is a rumor.
That's right.
So that Jim Ward came up with the idea of a monk, and I'm trying to remember what it said or Dice and Men. Oh, because he liked the song Kung Fu Fighting.
Oh, really?
Okay. Jim Ward came up with the idea of a monk because he liked, but I think that's we talked about that in the monks. Is that apparently it was somebody else.
It could be. Well, Jim Ward was on with our friend Carlos Lysing, a dear friend of ours, and perhaps he'll come on to our show.
And we can ask him about that.
That would be we have to ask him about Kung Fu Fight. That would be the first thing we ask.
Isn't it true?
Not what he's doing today. I know he's working on a game and he's produced a game. No, we're going to ask him about. Was it named after Kung Fu Fighting?
Was it his idea because he's obsessed with Kung Fu Fighting?
And
is he responsible for the monk?
David Carradine and that kind of thing.
Well, that will definitely get him.
Yeah, I'm sure if he watched this, that he'd immediately.
That's the only good news that he's not watching. All right,
exactly.
Multi-class. So yes, we've completed. You said we've completed all the classes.
We have completed all the classes, all the races.
What was your favorite class? What is your favorite class? And we've been through them all. I don't know. Have you changed your opinion on any of them?
Actually, the assassin has gotten higher up.
Interesting.
Yes, I wasn't a big fan of them before. I thought they were a little ridiculous, but now
once we got that was a useful segment because we learned about what they're used for infiltrating and spying. I never really read through that, and so I really hadn't thought about all those valuable uses of the assassin other than just sort of
right, the disguise things. You know, today as opposed to when I was, you know, in my teenage days, where I was more fighting, spellcasting, combat, not some, you know, I poo-pooed anything that was more of the non-combat focused classes.
Right.
So clerics had a role, magic users had a role, fighters had a role, thieves less because they did all that other nonsense that I didn't care about, and assassins, while they could assassinate, the other fake features didn't. But now you could do a lot of fun things with them.
Yeah, I agree. That was and we learned that there's NPCs. You can have gnome illusionist assassins, which is really
right
the most awesome thing that we've discovered this entire
right. There's going to
podcast.
be for those who play in my game, there will be a gnome illusionist
assassin,
without a doubt.
Named Megalo. Wait, what's the name of that centipede?
Megalo. Yeah, Megalo.
Megalo. That should be his name. Oh yeah, and his symbol would be a centipede.
Oh, that's right.
He's got the 13 centipedes.
That's the name. Megalo, and that's the name of his secret society.
Yeah.
It's the symbol of the giant centipede.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. It's coming together.
It's writing itself.
It is writing itself.
It's writing itself.
I see an idea for a tournament adventure next year at GaryCon too.
You guys know it. You guys know it already.
The Revenge of the Gnome.
Revenge of the Gnome.
He was good.
It's right. He turned to the dark side.
He did. He was lawful good.
But somehow
he's bitten by a centipede. He's bitten by a megalo or something, right?
And he failed to save or something.
But he didn't die.
Yeah. How does we have to?
He's pseudo undead. Oh. He's a pseudo undead
gnome illusionist assassin. This is no. I don't think anyone was going to care that much about this backstory, but okay.
I like it,
and that's what matters.
Thank you.
It's really about that.
So is this when we hug? Okay.
We could hug if you like. Okay. What I will not hug about is that you're already past where the multi-class is. Okay, stop now. Stop right there.
All right, let's do it.
So, what we've talked about is all the classes, and now we're going to speak about, this is the purview of demi-humans, which is the ability for them, which I think a lot of people, why they gravitate towards demi-humans. One, it's fun to play something that's not you. You know, everyone's a human, so I'm stating the obvious, obviously.
Some more so than others.
That's true. And so playing something that's, you know, it's a role-playing game, you want to do something different. And then the other advantage, you know, there are a lot of people who want to be able to do more. They don't want to rely on other characters if they don't have to. They want to be able to do as much as possible. So the multi-class feature allows them to do it, which is basically, instead of traditionally you have a single class, you're a fighter, rip, you can do multi-class. But in first edition, there are a number of restrictions, and they're discussed in, you know, it's brought up in a couple of places, but the main place is on page 32 of the Player's Handbook. And
you did mention a couple of places, because we'll be doing some flipping.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because in the description of the races, it talks about the multi-classes that the race can be, and talks about the restrictions, and so.
That's right.
So the first issue, of course, is that there's only certain combinations.
Yes.
So you can't just pick any, like we talked about. You can't be, unfortunately, you can't be an illusionist assassin, not anyways a PC.
In first edition, at the time that we consider what we consider first edition, that is correct. They're limited to these items that are in the Player's Handbook.
Oh, that other book changed it?
In later editions, they're either almost all combinations are allowed, or a vast majority of them are allowed.
Okay. And there's... Everyone is two classes. One is three, right? And that's the fighter, magic user, thief. And
cleric, fighter, magic user.
Oh, I'm sorry. And cleric, fighter, magic. You're right. There's two. You know, I never have seen anyone be a cleric, fighter, magic user.
I love that class.
It seems very cool. And you know, and I've never seen anyone be a cleric, magic. Well, maybe we should talk about the one. So, cleric, fighter, right? So obviously, only certain races can be this. So half elves and half orcs can be a cleric, fighter.
Right, so they go through the list, and the first thing you have to kind of think about here is all these restrictions that typically make a single class problematic. The cleric with his or her edge weapon restriction, the magic user that can't wear armor, that all changes. And
that's one of the benefits of being, not only do you get the two classes, but except for thieves, right? You get the benefits of the best. So you can be a cleric now using edged weapons.
The multi-class is kind of like the English language. There was a rule, and then now there's an exception to all the rules.
Right.
There was, okay, this, it's like knife versus knave or whatever. We teach people English, and then we give them all these exceptions that they have to learn. So it was, here's the class restrictions, but if you're a multi-class, you can ignore most of the class restrictions unless you're a thief, and now you have to remember the class restriction.
And we'll talk about that, because my reading of this is that you're only restricted to the leather armor when you're engaged in thief activities, right? But is that how that's how I read that? I mean, maybe we can go through. Sure.
I've typically, I've also had people not fight it. Is that I've typically said they have to wear armor or less if they have a thief class. You could certainly argue that if they're not doing thieving, but then that would be the same thing, because I think part of that rule is when we talk about dual class, there's a discussion of you select the fighter magic user. You can't cast spells in metal armor if you're dual class, and we'll talk about that in a second. But you could take the armor off and then cast spells. So I think that's where that argument came from.
Right.
All right, so let's go through the list.
All right, so you got the cleric fighter, half elves and half orcs, maybe cleric fighters. And one of the benefits, of course, is we know in 1E that if you are a demi-human, and I like how on page 32 it's also referred to as a semi-human.
Semi-human.
You've never heard of that?
No.
So if you're a demi-human,
there's non or semi-humans.
Right. You are, I guess, yeah. So the the non-humans, obviously the dwarves and the elves, right? The gnomes and the halflings, and the semi-humans are the half elves.
Yes.
And the half orcs.
Right.
You're limited in your unless you're a thief. You're limited in your advancement, and so this gives you the opportunity. Like, let's say I want to be a half orc cleric. Well, you're gonna max out at level 4. If you're a cleric fighter,
right,
then you can obviously go much higher.
So the advantages are you can use multiple classes. You get usually the advantage of both classes, but here's the downsides. Because you're demi-human, the racial limits are in effect. And one of the challenges is, even though you've hit your level limit, you still have to consume experience points into that other class.
Right.
So you're only gaining half experience level in going forward after you max out. So the way experience points work, so if you're just a single cleric and you get 2,000 experience points, great. If you're a fighter cleric, you take the experience points you earn, you divide it by 2, and you split out. And you still have to keep doing that even though your class maxes out.
So
a lot of people, that's the part they hate.
Yeah, because that's the real downside. You're seeing all your friends are heading off to 6th grade, and you're being held back.
Right, you're held back.
Everyone else is 2nd level, and you're still 1-1. I mean, if you're fighter magic, so the next one's cleric fighter magic user, you're divvying that up by 3.
Right.
All your friends are high level, and you're...
And as a cleric, half-elf cleric, which I think is the only one that can do that, I think it's 5th level is the max.
It is. And is that
cleric.
because I'm guessing then elves can't be clerics?
Correct. Not player character elves. So this is where you have to go back to page 14, and it has the limits, the class combinations are limited also by the class and race limitations.
Right.
Which is so 1E. It doesn't class level limitations. We always focus on what you can't do, not what you can do.
Exactly.
Which we love.
Now the next one.
So a cleric fighter magic user is great, but again, you're probably you need some tremendous scores. You're going to need a good wisdom, a good intelligence, probably a good constitution, and you get a lot of spells, but you're going to be maxed out at 5th level.
Now the good news about this is that, and it doesn't say it here, but I know if you are an elf or a half elf magic user multi-class and you're a fighter, you can wear armor and cast spells.
Absolutely.
Which is, and I know a lot of people have questioned that. Roger Moore, in his series, The Best Of, I believe, when we talked about elves, he said that he attributed to the fact that elves are so magically inclined. Now, granted, they're limited, unlike humans,
right?
But they're so magically inclined that their brains enable them to cast spells while wearing armor. Now, of course, they can't do that if they are not a fighter.
Right.
So whatever, but you got to, I guess, kind of explain that away somehow.
But of course, then there's the gnomes, which we haven't gotten to yet.
Oh, and we've talked about that controversy. I looked at that again with the illusionists. So the third one, I love the third one. For whatever reason, I had not noticed this one. And what I think is really cool is I really like when you can multi-class with a subclass. And so the idea of a cleric ranger,
Right.
I think, is very cool. Because I just think, this idea of a ranger, when I think of a ranger, I think of somebody who, truly hates, right, humanoids and wants to kill them.
Talk about that defender of the frontier kind of thing.
Right. But but you're also extremely religious,
right.
And so you're like this religious zealot,
right?
Who's protecting the borderlands. So I don't know.
That's Glades. That's your character.
Yeah. If I remembered that Glades was a cleric,
that's right.
You forgot.
Right.
I think the cleric ranger is awesome. So far, I know you want to know which one my favorite is. Right. So far, right now these three. That's in the lead.
Okay, absolutely. The Cleric Ranger is by far one of the most powerful because you take the advantage of, if you're quote unquote power gaming, the Ranger gets 2 D8 to start with, plus you get the D8. You have a decent amount of hit points. You can track, you can wear armor, you can fight with weapons, you can heal yourself. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like the Cleric Ranger. Cleric Magic User, that is an interesting one. So half elves. So half elves get a lot of these.
Yep. Because they're semi.
Because they're semi-human, exactly. So, cleric. Wow, that's a lot of spell business going on. So you get double. So you get your clerical spells for the day, and you get your magic user spells.
Right.
You got to spend a long time, because you got to do what? Is it 15 minutes per level of magic user?
Per level, yeah. The rest is the. So remember, with recovering spells, you have to rest up to the highest level spell. So if you're first level, you need 4 hours typically, and then it's 15 minutes per level of spell per the number of spells you want to do.
So you can spend a lot of time. So if you're a very high level multi-class, and I don't know how high clerics, how high can rangers? I mean, how high can spells go on cleric? Oh, just 5th?
Yeah.
All right. So you can have quite a batch of spells for the day.
Right. Well, at 5th level, if you were a 5/5 fighter magic user, which again in your world, like you said, that's pretty high level. You would have 4/2/1. I'm sorry, 4/2/1 for magic user, and if you had a decent wisdom, you would have. Let's say you had the max. You would have 5/5/2. So you'd have you'd have almost 20 spells you could cast a day.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had one, and actually in Ed's game, after you moved on to the second game, that's the character I had. I had a cleric magic user. He's had 2 hit points when he started because I rolled terrible. So I sat in the back casting spells and staying out there.
Yeah, all right, incoming.
But I could be a magic user with plate mail, so that's a big deal.
That is a big deal. That's right, because that's right. So you can use, so you're cleric magic, so you can use a dagger if you're cleric magic user, right? Because you can use edge. Wait, is that right? Cleric combinations. No, wait. It says with fighter types.
Yeah.
So no, if you're a cleric magic user,
no, that's true.
But I'm restricted to the cleric.
Yeah, we always. Why would I use a dagger? I'd use a mace.
No, I understand. I was just curious.
Yeah.
But so it sounds like that cleric rule, because let's face it, a lot of this is trying to figure out the restrictions, right? I mean, a lot of the multi-classes, okay, what can I use? What can't I use? So it sounds like clerics only with fighter types can use edged weapons. So if you're a cleric magic user, it says fighter type, so the ranger, of course. But so it sounds like cleric magic.
So if you were a cleric thief, which is one that comes next,
you could not.
You could not.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Wait, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is huge.
Well, let's move to that, because that's a cleric thief. I was just about to say that's awesome.
Right.
The half-orc is the only one that can be a cleric.
So how are you backstabbing with a club? I guess you are backstabbing with a club at this point.
You can backstab with a club.
Right.
So wait, so cleric, what can the cleric use?
A club, a mace, but you can't backstab. It's not that. That's the only. That's one of the few weapons that they both share. You should be able to backstab with something the thief can't be proficient in.
You think I've got to use? It's got to be on both lists,
right?
Oh.
How would they train you at thieves school? Okay, we're going to teach you. All right, you filthy dogs. We're going to teach you how to backstab. What'd you bring?
I got this.
I got my mace.
A mace.
What's that? You can't use that.
What are you, a cleric? Yes.
Yeah, you'd have to use a club. That's the only thing you share.
So cleric and thief, the club. That's the only thing.
Right, club.
So you suggest? Wait, is that only to backstab, or that I can only use?
Well, no, you could use a mace, but if you wanted to backstab, you would have to backstab with a thief weapon.
How do you? Okay, what is your support for the fact that I can use a mace?
Because I'm a cleric, I can always use a mace.
Because you get the advantages of the...
Right.
So if it doesn't say it.
It doesn't say...
But it says cleric combinations with fighter types may use edged weapons.
Right, but clerics can always use normal weapons. The more restricted is the cleric, not the thief in this case.
Okay, all right.
Right? Does everyone agree with that, or we lost our mind?
I don't think you've lost... I don't think you've lost your mind, because that would be crazy that you can only use...
It's crazy that the fact you have to use a club to backstab, if we follow this as it's written.
Right, because it doesn't say...
Which is, I've read that 50 times, and I've always ignored it, because I've always assumed clerics can just use whatever weapons. They get the advantage. And maybe the only one was the thief with the armor, but you're right.
Well, maybe it says it in the half-orc.
Yeah, or in the cleric.
Or in the cleric, right?
Thompson says he thinks backstab can be used with any weapon.
Yeah.
It's never been limited as far as he knows.
Oh.
Well, the assumption was that that they would be trained with weapons that thieves could be trained in. That they wouldn't just be picking up anything and backstabbing.
Oh, here it is. For half-orcs. When playing a multi-class character, the half-orc must abide by the restrictions of the least favorable class with regard only to armor.
Okay.
So then they can use, so they can use anything. So now the question becomes, can you backstab with something that is not a thief? So just like you said, I show up with the mace for training day, backstabbing day.
Or the staff.
Or the staff. Friday is backstabbing training day. Record room 403. So we're to 403 at the Guild. I'm here. Is this 403?
Yeah, it's 403.
Are you Professor whoever?
Right.
Yes.
Professor Rotgut Stabber. Yeah.
All right, get out your weapon, and I pull out the staff. Praise Grumsh.
Praise Grumsh. We're attacking.
Praise Grumsh. I've got the whatever. Praise no, who's my guy? You know who my guy is.
But not the mole, right? The mole.
Oh no, that'd be for the gnome. No, yeah. I'm his son.
Oh, the moron.
Hey, come on! I've told you about that. You're starting to make me angry.
I am setting all the lower D. It's in that one.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
What die is this?
Where am I? Yes, it's here. Yeah,
everything is surprised. Yeah, no, I should remember his name. I should remember it. Yeah, so, Bagtrue.
Bagtrue.
Praise Bagtrue.
That's right.
And I pull out the staff. So that's the question. Well, where does it? We don't know. Do we know?
I would only allow thieves things. But if David's your DM, he would, our Chamberlain Most August from Australia, he would allow you to do that.
Well, if I can use, is clubs on there?
Club's on there because the club is a thief.
What's weird about it is it says backstab. Do I stab with a club?
Well, but it said, I'm almost positive when it talks about backstab.
I think you're right.
Under Thief's thing, it does say something like
We're talking about multi-class, right?
We are talking about multi-class. But this is part of it, because this is some of the nonsense. Here it is.
Where? What page? Can you
Page 27.
Yeah, where?
Backstabbing is the strike of the blow from behind, be it with club, dagger, or sword.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, then why can't I do it with a staff?
Well, that's what you'd have to ask them.
The professor's going to be really angry. Because he doesn't, he's like...
In fact, he probably has in the syllabus, when you bring bring only club, dagger, staff, stop.
Did you not read the syllabus?
That's right.
I worship Bagtrue. Of course, I have like a 7 intelligence. No, I didn't warn. No.
And in fact, he puts it in there. That's one of the first quizzes. That's the first test.
Right.
That's the cut question.
Which of the following can you not use to backstab? D is staff.
D is staff.
I picked D.
Out.
Right now I picked A.
That's all right.
Club.
Get out of here. So yes, the club. So there you go.
I love it. Okay. All right. So you're going to play it that you can only backstab with the item. Wait, that's right. It does say that, though. It says backstabbing is striking, be it with a club, dagger. Yeah, you're right. There is support for that. That it's got to be one of those 3 things.
Right.
Club, dagger. Is there another item the thief can use other than club, dagger, or sword? Right.
So the question then is...
so I can't backstab with a sling or a dart.
No. Well, that's right. If you're a thief, correct. You can't do that. You have to use the other weapons.
So I would tend to agree with you. I think I would rule it.
If you want,
yes.
But then the half-orc says, I think you read that.
What I can use.
That you can. The only restriction for half-orc is the armor, not the...
Yeah, but I think that means wielding. That doesn't necessarily mean... that doesn't mean backstabbing, right? It just means you can use it. I would think that means you can use in combat.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's opened up a whole new world of backstabbing.
Right.
Right? I don't...
Well, but the issue is...
That's not a class restriction.
Yes.
Saying that backstabbing is via club, dagger, or sword... I wouldn't view that as a class restriction. No, I would view that as describing what one could backstab with.
And it's equivalent. Like if you use a knife, I would assume, because a knife is later defined differently than a dagger.
Well, if I'm in prison, I need the ship or whatever, don't I?
Right,
so
exactly.
I'd be like soap.
So I would allow a knife a kitchen knife, it would just do less damage. But it's not.
Would you allow a butter knife?
Sure.
Okay.
But it would be 1 point multiple times 4.
Mm-hmm.
Or but it says sword. So one of the questions is, could you backstab with a two-handed sword? Well, the answer is no, because thieves can't use a two-handed sword.
Right.
That's where it comes down.
Okay. So the good news for the cleric thief now is that they're only limited to the leather armor business. But the good news is they can use any of the weapons that a cleric or a thief.
Right. But what's also interesting is that only a half orc can beat us. See, in the
not
past,
a half elf.
Right. In the past, I would have always allowed a half. I wouldn't even thought about it. Like because the permissible thing would be is if the classes are allowed, why wouldn't you do it? But here it says no.
Like, are there any cleric fighter, half elves and half orcs? That's not missing anything, is it?
That's correct. But cleric thief only half orc can be.
Because a dwarf, right? Because we know the cleric ones, who can be a cleric? Half orc. Human, and we don't need to be care about human. Half elf, that's it.
That's it.
So we know in the cleric, as long as it's both a half elf and a half orc, it's got everything.
Right.
So the first 3 is all good. Half orc ranger. Ugh, I know you can't be half orc ranger. That'd be weird. Okay, cleric. Okay, so far so this is the first one. The question becomes, why can you not be a half elf cleric thief?
Exactly. There's no. It doesn't say.
Why?
Well, that's right.
Why, Gary?
Because it's fun having these side rolls.
You know what that look is? I'll tell you what that look is, because I said so.
That's right.
That's what he's looking at.
I'm the DM. I said so.
Seriously? I love that picture. That is the perfect picture. His eyes follow you, actually. Have you noticed that?
No, I have not noticed that.
That's scaring me. I'm sorry, Gary. All right. So, yeah, all right. But that's cleric thief's pretty cool.
Right.
You're like massively religious, but you're a thief. Right. Are you stealing? Oh, you know what? We got to figure out. Hold on.
Thompson says it's limited by thief weapons. I think the backstab is what he's done.
Yeah.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yes.
Slings and darts are included.
Yeah.
I think we agree with that.
Yep.
So
cleric
what?
Thieves, cleric assassins are probably equal to. That's what he says.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, we get it, but it's.
Oh, you're new. Yeah, but you can have half elf evil. Yeah, right. So you got to be evil.
There's nothing limiting that. I mean, it's the This is where the tension between you have player characters who really should be able to do whatever they want, and then kind of the normal elf is not evil, because remember we talked about elves not being evil. All right.
Oh, and let me mention, so Shargas, right, Best of Dragon, the orc deity of thieves, assassins, and those who do evil under cover of darkness, orcs and half orcs. So that'd be very cool. You could be a cleric thief, half orc, and I think that's who you would worship.
Right, Shargas.
Shargas, yeah. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
I love Roger Moore's deities. Okay, so now the next one is, since you can't be an illusionist assassin, it's got to be an NPC. This one may take, this may be moving to number 1.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome.
You love this one, the cleric assassin.
I had a cleric assassin, but I didn't.
You did?
When I was young, yes. Now
you can't be, again, half elves are out.
You have to be
which is weird, because half elves can half elves be assassins? I'm sure they can.
They sure can. Yes.
So again, they're out. So these combinations are two
of them are restricted just to half.
Two out there, even for half elves. Seemingly strange. Not strange at all.
Right.
Right? This is perfect. The cleric assassin. And I'll tell you, I've got a Yurtress.
Yeah.
Worshippers, assassins, and those who worship.
God of death or whatever.
Exactly. Now that would be awesome, right?
Right.
To be a cleric assassin.
For those who is on the podcast, he's holding up the Best of Dragon 3, which has the pictures of the orc deities.
Yes, Yurtress, yeah.
It's a diseased, festering thing.
Awesome. Yes. Yurtress, the white-handed, is the terrifying orcish god of death and disease. That's who I would definitely worship.
And you know who's prominently portrayed in that in Citadel by the Sea, right? He's in there.
I put him in there.
Oh, you put him in there.
Well, because it's very diseased, so you see.
Yes. I thought that was part of it.
I added that.
Oh, wonderful.
Because I love Yurtress. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was in there. Which, by the way, someone took up our offer. If someone did take my Dragon 78, I'll be sending it to one of our patrons.
Oh, excellent.
Okay, so thank you. He'll hopefully get it out before Christmas.
Awesome. It'll find a good home.
Steve wanted it. Learning, I think his name Steve. Asked for it, and it'll be coming his way. So I need to do that this week.
You're just full of Christmas spirit.
It is a Christmas spirit, absolutely.
Okay.
Cleric Assassin's awesome, but again, you're limited to 4th level for cleric, and once you hit that, you still burn through your experience points, and that's discussed because I'm sure some player is going to go, what do you mean I have to share experience points? Well, that's talked about in Half Orcs on page 17. All earned experience is always divided equally between the 2 player classes, even though the character might no longer be able to progress upwards in level in one of the 2 classes.
Okay.
So welcome to Sadland.
What's the armor restriction on assassins? Because if I'm a cleric assassin, I have to abide by
leather.
that. Okay, that's a bummer. Yeah, because I'm doing the thief activities.
I think maybe studded leather is the best they can wear.
Yeah, I'm doing thief activities.
Something
No, I don't think you can wear stud. Well, I shouldn't say that.
It just says leather.
Yeah. And for thieves, that means not. I know Sage advice, I think, said studded wouldn't count because you're going to be noisy.
Yeah, in the book that shall not be named, it provides penalties if you wear stud leather. Mm-hmm. But it can be done.
Okay. So fighter magic user, this is a pretty common one.
Right.
And this is elves and half elves. I don't think that's missing anybody. Who can be magic? Half orcs can't be magic users.
Nope.
Gnomes can't be magic users.
Nope.
Halflings cannot be magic. So this has got everything covered.
And dwarves, that's right. None of them can.
And dwarves, right? So elves and half elves, and this is a pretty common one.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, and this may have been OD&D as well. In Almost Basic, elves, is both a race or class. They are automatically treated as basically this. So this is sort of, I guess this is the idea. This is sort of the typical elf when you think of an elf.
That's right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Fighter illusionist, gnomes. Now this is where things get confusing because it says see above, right?
Right.
So it says fighter magic user. Obviously this combination allows excellent armor protection. So indicating that if you're a fighter magic user, the nice thing about it is you can wear armor. Then on fighter illusionist, it says see above. That would seem to me to suggest that gnome fighter illusionists can wear armor, correct? But then now there's the controversy. If you flip over to gnomes.
There's no controversy to me because the only time I've played it is I played a fighter gnome and I wear big armor just because it makes it fun. But what's the controversy?
Well, isn't it? This is where it says a character of the gnome race. I'm on page 16, second paragraph under gnomes. Mm-hmm. A character of the gnome race can select to be a fighter, blah, 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 right? An illusionist. It is also possible for a gnome character to be 2 classes at the same time. A fighter illusionist, a fighter thief, or an illusionist thief, for example. In the latter case, the character is restricted to the wearing of leather armor, regardless of which class combination he or she has chosen, unless only fighting is performed by the character. Now, what is the latter? I think the latter case means any I may be inconsistent with what I said on the podcast dealing with gnomes. I read latter case to mean any multi-class, which means that you are restricted to the wearing of leather. But that wouldn't make any sense if you are a fighter illusionist. Why would you be restricted to leather armor?
Right. So the latter could be the latter as in the last one, illusionist thief, or.
But that would make no sense. Yeah, but why would that wouldn't make it wouldn't make sense because you're not picking up fighter thief, right?
Well, so the other way you could read it. A fighter illusionist, a fighter thief, or an illusionist thief, for example. So that almost feels like an offhand comment. So then the former is fighter illusionist, the latter is fighter thief. And then if you read it that way, in the latter case, which means the fighter thief, the character is restricted to leather armor regardless of class combination he's chosen, unless the fighting is performed by the character.
Well, when it says unless only fighting, it clearly is referring to a multi-class gnome who's a fighter.
Right.
Why else would you say unless only fighting?
But the latter case would be there's 2 fighter ones. There's a fighter illusionist and there's a fighter thief.
That's right. So in the character, so this is very confusing. Well, what would make sense? What would
make sense is fighter thief, that you can only wear, unless you're fighting, you could wear whatever armor. But if you're not fighting, then you could do the thieving. That would make no sense on the fighter illusionist because there's nothing to do with it.
An illusionist thief, a magic user thief. What can a magic user thief wear?
Magic user thief?
Is there a magic user thief?
Yes, and he's restricted to leather armor.
All thieves are actually, aren't they?
Yes.
So what would make sense is if you are a fighter thief, you're restricted to leather armor, right?
It says under fighter thief, which is the next one, even though thieving functions restrict the character to leather armor and no shield.
Wait, you said magic user thief? Wait, can I cast spells in leather armor as a magic user thief?
Magic user thief?
We have to go down. It does not offer all
I'm sorry, I was reading fighter thief. I apologize. What? Under magic user thief, it doesn't, it's silent on that.
So we'd have to go to elves and half elves?
Yes.
To figure that out?
Possibly.
Returning. If the character is multi-class, I'm on elves on page 16. The following restrictions apply.
Oh, yeah, it says under elves this.
Although able to operate freely with the benefits of armor, weapons, and magic items available to the classes the character is operating in, any thieving is restricted to the armor and weaponry usable by the thief class.
Right. And that's the argument for, forcing people either, if you wanted to be more restrictive, to say, well, if you're casting spells, you have to use, you have to get out of the armor. But most people are being generous, and they say, well, because elves have the magic affinity, they can cast it without.
Well, yeah, because if you can be a fighter magic user and cast in armor,
right?
If you're a magic user thief, it'd be ridiculous to think you couldn't cast in leather.
Right. You have to. It makes sense. You wouldn't have to be in nothing.
It just as any thieving is restricted to armor.
Right. The idea is climbing walls. That's a physical thing. The reason they're limited to leather is because they have to be dexterous to move around. That's the thought behind it.
Yeah. All right.
So then the question that you brought up is, let's say they're not thieving and they are fighter thief. Can they wear chainmail and then can they take it off?
Like I'm going into battle. I'm not going to be using magic.
Right.
Right.
Or I'm going to battle. I'm a fighter. I'm trained in using plate mail. I'm going to battle. I'm not going to be. But then you could argue that backstabbing, which is a thief skill, you could not do unless you're in, because there's a surprise element to backstabbing, which would be hard to do in plate mail.
Because it does say, yeah, though I would view that as that's a thieving activity.
Right.
So you'd have to be in leather to be a thieving activity.
Yep.
So what our thought is you're a multi-class and you're a thief. If you're engaging in, quote, thieving activities, you've got to do those restrictions.
That's right.
And weapon restrictions.
That's right.
Too, right? But if you're not engaging in, quote, thieving activities, then you can do whatever the other class would permit you.
Exactly.
But what's interesting about it is...
Which is why they all want rings of protection and braces of armor class, and then they don't have to deal with any of this nonsense.
Right. But it doesn't go the other way. So if I'm a magic user thief, and I want to cast a spell, we think that I can cast a spell...
Well, because
in leather armor.
Absolutely, because Roger Moore justifies that by saying elves' brains are different.
Well, yeah, because if you're a fighter magic user and you can cast in plate, why can't you cast in leather?
That's right.
But I'm sorry, it's always all roads lead to gnomes for me. Back to the gnomes. So we would think then the fighter illusionist, it would just make sense.
Right.
So it's like the fighter. Yeah, but gnomes' brains aren't as good, are they, as elves? Well, they're not as smart.
Well, but they're illusionists already.
They're illusionists.
My argument is the preponderance of the texts talk about thieving being the restricting thing, not illusionists.
In the latter case, the character is restricted to the wearing of leather
4
armor,
hours later.
right? Regardless of which class combination.
Fortunately, the DM I played with, John, allowed me to wear whatever armor I wanted. A, because he liked illusionist, and B, he read it as the latter being illusionist thief, not.
But that
fighter illusionist. Fighter thief.
How does that become ladder? You said it's a throwaway, or a fighter illusionist, for example.
Right.
So that makes it the throwaway. That makes the fighter thief.
It's the latter of the two examples: fighter illusionist, fighter thief. If you throw away illusionist thief, then you start in the latter case, which is between the fighter illusionist, fighter thief. The character is restricted to wearing leather armor.
And so, meaning the negative inference is that the fighter illusionist can wear fighter armor.
That's right, regardless of the class.
David Thompson says the thief class is the only class to have the armor restrictions.
That's right.
Fighter illusionist can use armor. Fighter thief can use any armor, just not the thief abilities.
Yeah, because you keep reading. If the latter case, the character is restricted to only wearing leather armor, regardless of which class combination. And again, latter.
Wait, regardless of which class combination.
So the other more generous would be the latter would be fighter thief and illusionist thief. It wouldn't be in all of them.
Regardless of which.
If you change the latter to be in the last two cases, then it would make sense. Because it's a thief that's
in the latter cases.
Yes, in the latter cases.
The character, for want of an S.
Right.
The character is restricted to the wearing of leather armor, regardless of which kind, unless
fighting is performed.
That would make sense. So the illusionist thief has got to wear leather armor. So if we add an S, and it's the last two,
and you cleaned it up a little.
And then the fighter thief has got to wear
leather armor.
Leather armor, and the fighter illusionist can do anything.
Right.
That makes sense to me.
Right.
Okay. Is that our official GROGTAK interpretation?
And that's what we've done. That's what I would allow to do. Because already gnomes are terrible, and I want to give them at least a chance to survive.
Well, it does make sense. That would explain that in Fighter Illusionist, when it says C above, that would be like, you can wear because then you go to above, and
Right,
we
it
know the
says
fighter magic users can wear armor.
That's right.
Okay. Fighter thieves. Oh, there's a lot here.
Yeah, pretty much that is the multi-class. I don't think there's no restriction on fighter.
Dwarves, elves, gnomes, half-elves, halflings, and half-orcs. Is there anything missing? I don't think so.
Has halfling on there?
Yeah, halflings on there. Dwarves, elves, gnomes, half-elves, halflings, and half-orcs.
Right.
Everyone can be fighter thieves. Which is interesting why you can't be a cleric thief again as the half-elf if you can be a fighter thief, but it is what it is. Okay, so with the fighter thief, then the restriction is the leather armor while you're engaged in.
Yep.
Okay.
And again, it makes sense from the physical constraints of searching and climbing walls and picking pockets. You have to be stealthy.
Right. Okay.
Sounds good.
So you should bring an extra set of clothes.
Right.
So if you're the thief multi-class, bring plate mail in your backpack.
In your back, try to be sneaky with a suit of plate mail in your back. Yeah.
Well, just watch this for me while I go do this.
And I love when they want, oh, we're going into combat. I switch my armor out. I'm wearing leather. I want my plate mail on. Okay, the combat will be over.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You're like, you're just getting fitted in.
Or you have plate mail, and I got a thief. I want to do some thieving. Oh, I'm going to climb walls. All right. Well, you're going to take you about 5 minutes to get out of your armor and switch out.
Right. Well, soliciting at doors is supposed to be. You're supposed to take off your helmet.
That's right.
As a thief, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
I agree.
Fighter assassin.
Another powerful one.
Again, only the half-orc.
Yes.
Are only half-orcs the assassin multi-class? They are.
They are the only assassin multi-class. Correct.
Except for the non-NPC gnome.
Yes.
But so that's interesting. I guess you got to be really. Well, I don't know what the answer is, but okay. So only half-orcs and the fighter assassin.
Well, and the reason fighter assassin is so powerful is you can get more hit points because half-orc is one of the races that gets a bump in Constitution.
Oh, you mean
You can get
it could be a 19.
And so as a fighter, you would get +5 per die. So that's pretty awesome.
And the only way you would know that is you'd have to go to deities and demigods, right?
Yes.
For the bonuses over 18. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, that'd be very cool. Okay, so fighter, magic user, thief. That's a fairly common one.
Yep.
Right. That is
Back to the elves and half elves.
Right. Hit points are good, I guess. Well, on average. I mean, they're good. Well, they're better than magic user.
Right.
I wouldn't say they're good.
And this is an important one here because you see the rounding up scenario. Because one of the questions always is, how do you calculate experience points? And here they show you the example. If you take, in this case, 5.5 plus 2.5 plus 3.5 equals 11.5 divided by 3, well, that's less than 4, but they rounded it up.
Right.
So there's always been question about Constitution, and we'll talk about hit points in just a second, but that's always been a question of how do you add the Constitution bonus.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. You got to make it to 3.5 though, don't you, to get to 4?
Yes.
You can't be below 3.5.
It's got to be rounded up.
Rounded up, right? Because I don't know what 11.5 divided by 3 is, but I assume it's
close
over.
To 4.
It's closer to 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so magic user, thief.
Very popular as well.
Elves and half elves, and that makes sense. Nothing's missing there.
So the advantage of a thief with all these is the fact that thieves classes don't cost a lot of experience points. The experience points is so you're not taking a big hit as far as progressing. So whereas let's say a magic user is 2,500 for level 2, if you add the thief, you're adding another 1,250 on top of it. So if you get to 5,000 experience points, you're going up 2 levels, almost 3. 3 you'll be. So it's not as big a hit. So that's what makes it an advantage.
Right, indeed. And then illusionist thieves, only gnomes. That would make sense because no one can be. Are the only illusionists humans and gnomes?
That's correct.
That's it. Okay. And all right, we've already talked about that. Wear leather armor. So can we talk about? Are we ready to talk about hit points?
Yes.
Because that can be confusing, and I know in the hit points section it talks about, I think, what, page 19.
19.
It talks about how to determine your hit points.
Right.
And
go ahead.
Okay. Well, so you roll the hit die for each class character in which there is professing. You total the sum of the dice rolled and adjust for Constitution. And then you divide the total by the character's classes, dropping fractions under 1/2, rounding fractions of 1/2 or greater upwards to the next whole number. The number derived is the number of hit points that multiclass character gains with the rise in that experience level. So one of the questions I'm going to throw out there is, how do you do it initially? This seems to be talking about rise in, because typically you rise in one level. I mean, you could rise in 2 levels at a time, but if you rise, so let's assume that you're rising in 1 level. So I'm rising in 1 level as a thief, right?
Well, first you start as a 1/1 regardless.
So I'm a 1/1.
Yeah, you're a fighter thief with a 15 constitution.
Okay, so
you would roll a d6 and a d4.
Right.
And you'd add them up. It says roll the dice and then adjust for constitution. So 15 is a +1 on each dice. So you get a plus. So you add +2 to that.
That's what I agree, and I think that's what I was doing wrong, and it didn't make any sense. The way I was doing it is, I think clearly, as you indicated, you've got to add the con bonus to each die.
Right.
Because otherwise, you're being ripped off.
Right.
You're losing, your con bonus is being cut in half.
Correct.
So, okay, so I agree with that. So when you start rolling up your character, so let's say, we'll do it right now. So let's say, let's be a cleric. Oh, we'll do the cleric ranger.
Cleric ranger.
You want to do the cleric ranger?
Yeah, what's your constitution?
Because now I got a lot of rolls going.
Right.
Well, let's say my constitution is a 16.
16, okay, wonderful. So you get 3d8. You get 2 for the ranger.
Right, so I get
1 for the cleric.
Right. So I would roll. So this
7,
is the 7 and the
4.
That's the 11, and then I would add, if we're following the way they do it, that's the 11 plus the 2, right?
Well, it's 2 for each dice if it's a ranger.
Oh, you get the con bonus for each die.
That's why rangers are ridiculous.
Got it. Yes,
because
it's already ready to screw up.
Each die. Constitution is adjusted by each die.
So that's 11 plus 4. That's right. 15.
That's right.
And then I roll for the cleric, which is an 8.
Plus 2 is 10.
And then we add those and divide.
So that's 25, which is 12 and a
13.
half. 12.5. You round it up.
So I just have to, I'm a level 1.
With 13 hit points. And you're a cleric ranger.
Right. And so let's say I was doing a thief magic user. With no con bonus, I would just roll these 2.
Right, 5, and you just threw the dice down.
It's a caltrop at this point.
Now,
right.
5 and 4 is 9.
Oh, high.
That's pretty awesome.
Wow.
You'd have 5 hit points.
That's pretty good that's very good.
Well, it's more than the beauty of this roll. It's more than you would be as a normal magic user.
That's right.
With no con bonus.
Now, as I go up each, so let's say that I advance
now the
thief.
challenge is right. You advance as a thief.
Right, and I haven't made it as a magic user yet.
Yes.
I get a roll, correct?
Right. So now you're second level thief.
Right. Right.
So here you're just going to divide by 2.
So if
you get 1.
Thank God I round up.
Right. You get 1 hit point, and now this is why people don't do this. They're supposed to keep track of their hit points by level. Because if you get level drain, which we're going to talk about right now, you're supposed to keep. And I think maybe it's not in the golden rod, but one of the player character sheets, it has what you gained each level. How many hit points? Because in this case, so let's say for argument's sake you rolled a 3, right? So that would be 1.5 points. You get 2. When you roll your magic user and you roll a 4, if you do 2 and then you do 4, you would actually lose some of your hit points potentially by doing that.
Right.
So you have to keep track of it. So when you go up both levels, you can add them together and follow the rule.
Okay, we'll talk about with level train.
But so the point is, you have to keep track of individually because it's an advantage to the player potentially.
Because you lose the hit points that you gain when you level drain. You lose the hit points.
Yes, you lose the levels that you gained. You don't, because if you don't keep track of it, then you have to randomly figure out, well, how many hit points did I gain?
Right. So you lose the hit points that you gained.
Correct.
It's not like a random roll downward. It's whatever you gained.
That's in theory. That's what you're supposed to, if they're keeping track of their hit points.
So basically, on that chart, you want to have an asterisk that says, in case of level drain.
That's right, in case of level drain. But it's important for multiclass, unless you're going up at the same level. If you're going 1, 1, 2, 2, like you said, you have to keep track of the individual ones because eventually you're going to put them together and divide it by 2.
Oh, yeah, but don't I just roll again? So if I'm now magic user, don't I just roll this? And why do I need to know what I was for thief?
So
that's 3, that's 2.
So let's say you rolled a 2, right, here, and you divide by 1, you have 1 hit point for thief, right?
Yeah.
And your magic user. Then the next level, you roll a 3 on here.
Right.
Right? You divide that by 2, you get 2. But if you were to do that separately, you may get more hit points depending on how many things you have. Potentially, it may not work to your favor. That's why you have to keep track of it. 99 out of 100 times it's going to work the same. This is 3 hit points. 2 and 3.
Oh, well, you're saying there's times in which...
Because you have to divide, ultimately you divide it by 2 and you round up or down depending on what it is. So if you...
Oh, that's right. Wait, but you could actually be rounding up twice.
That's right. So
you could actually get, wait, could you get more? I could be rounding, I could have 2 halves going up. So let's say I got...
I don't know.
Well, I haven't done
all the math. I'm sure.
Well, let's try some math here. Okay. So let's say I do a 3.
All I wanted to say is you have to keep track of your hit points and then eventually fix it. But go ahead.
But now I'm intrigued.
Yes, you are. It's my fault.
It's always dangerous to do math.
I'm sorry for all those out there.
It is dangerous to do math live though, because you really can show your ignorance. So I roll a 3.
Right. And
I get 2.
You get 2.
Then separately I go up and I get a 3. I go up 2. I would say I should go up 2. But if I roll these together, I go up 3.
That's right.
Because I would get 1.5 and 1.5. That's
right.
You do 1.5 and 1.5 separately equals 4.
Well, 1.5 equals 3.
But separately would equal 4. But 1.5 plus 1.5 equals 3.
That's right.
So actually, I think it could be the word. You could actually be cheating upwards potentially.
Correct.
Right?
I'm sure there's a way to cheat downwards.
Well, I think if you had 3, if you're like the 3 multi, you could actually do, because you could do a third and a third and a third goes down.
Right.
But a third and a third and a third is 1.
You can see our brains are hurting online.
A third and a third and a third is 0.
Right.
When you're doing it separately.
That's right.
But a third and a third and a third should be 1.
Right.
Okay, but now the question is.
Okay.
Does
anyone care? Does anyone care out there? But go ahead.
Are you kidding me? This crowd is eating this up.
That's right.
This crowd loves this.
Mm-hmm.
I understand your point.
Right.
But are you correct that that's rules as written? So the question,
well, rules as written is when you add up the number of levels. That's rules as written. You could argue that you don't get hit points until you level up both levels. You could say that way, too.
Okay, well, that's all right. Let's read. All right. So, multi-class characters determine their hit points as follows. Roll the hit die appropriate to each class the character is professing. Total the sum of all dice rolled and adjust the constitution. Divide the total by the character's classes, dropping fractions. The number derived is the number of hit points the multi-class character gains with the rise in that experience level. I think number 4 there suggests that this is the function you do. You follow this when you go up a single level. So I'm wondering if rules as written suggests you actually can end up getting ripped off or benefited by the fraction. It's the fraction adjustment is the problem. That number 4 says the rise in that experience level. That suggests that you should be. This is the method.
Yeah.
For each.
Yeah, you could do it that way. Absolutely.
But so I guess. Ultimately, so that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, I wonder if some are worse. So if you're 2 classes, though, it's better because the haves and the halves.
Yep.
The triple class is worse.
The haves and the have-nots. That's right.
Right? Because the triple class could be worse.
Right.
Because you're getting the third and the third and the third.
You'd be dropping it then.
You'd be dropping it then.
Right.
So what you feel what you do is you readjust it.
I readjust it when I go up there.
That makes more sense. It seems what you're doing seems a fairer way.
It goes back to that, but you could certainly do it that way. And I'm sure 99 out of a lot of times it's a moot point because it's there. But the big thing is the constitution adjustment is a per the dice, not per the level. Because not all creatures just get one. The assumption is most people get 1 level per die, but that's not always the case.
And what I was doing is I was just adding total sum of all dice roll. And see, because number 2 is confusing. I think you're absolutely right. But number 2 says total the sum of all dice rolled, comma, and adjust for constitution. It doesn't say do there. Constitution per each die.
Right.
But I mean, I think.
But then if you go to Constitution, it should say.
Yeah. Hit point adjustment indicates, to each hit die for a character.
Right.
So I agree with that. Okay. That was very helpful.
Good.
I finally learned something.
But you should keep track of it because now we're going to talk about level drain.
Let's do it. Yeah, and I don't think there's anything in the DMG. I looked on hit die just to get that out of the way.
Yes.
I mean, on multiclass.
There's nothing in multiclass except how to roll up a multiclass party or a multiclass.
Well, and that you can be a gnome illusionist. Come on.
Well, that's true.
A gnome illusionist assassin. Yeah, there's
so let's talk about level drain.
All right, level drain. Oh, and
this came up in your. Why don't you? While we looked up, give the example. We had this in your campaign.
If I recall, and this is the one where someone online said that Lane should have punched me in the nose.
Right. This was a classic.
Which I appreciated.
So give the background for those who don't remember.
So it was B2.
B2, that's
and
right.
there's a what? There's
a white.
Spoilers, a white.
That's right. For those
and
who don't know.
white, of course, have level drain.
Yes.
And I think
it's first level done.
Lane was a level 1/1.
He was a fighter cleric.
Which is where the person said they would punch me in the nose for putting a white in a level 1 adventure.
Exactly. Well, the example
not that I'm bitter.
The example was right. What would happen? Someone gave the scenario. Did you put the scenario in, or who put in?
No, Lane. Lane put it on Dragon's Foot.
Right, and then someone said if my dungeon master put a white in, I'd punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Punch him in the nose.
Yeah, I appreciate
And then
that.
someone said,
you need to punch Gary Gygax.
Yeah,
and then the debate became, but is the last cave you're supposed to have leveled up by the time you get there? But you don't necessarily, maybe, but you might go straight to the back cave.
Right.
Right? I mean, you don't know.
Of course, that's the fun. If you're as a DM, you're like, hee, they're going to just get slaughtered right here. So.
Right? I mean, that's the hope, but not necessarily.
So
and I agree. Your point was, when you see, it's like steps leading down.
Right.
And it seemed very sort of, and there was a detection of evil.
Oh, this is the famous moderate evil.
What level of evil? Because was there, I guess a cleric must have done detect evil.
Right.
And I said,
no, I was the paladin.
You were a paladin?
I took over a character.
Oh.
So the backstory is I've run B2, 50 times.
Right.
I show up there, Dan's starting this game, want to be participating. He's like, play B2. I'm like, okay, well, I've played B2. I'm not going to say anything. I'm playing the paladin.
The entire table knew what was in B2.
In fact, they all had the maps out. They were just figuring it out.
Yes.
I know this, and they inexplicably, instead of cleaning out the rest of it, which we did some of it, they decide they're going to go to where the cleric, where the undead is. We're going down into the crypt.
I think they went after the fact, didn't I? I had the caves emptied, I think, and then they wanted to go back, didn't they?
Page 119.
Because they knew that there was good stuff there.
That could be. But I knew that the white was in there. Now, I can't say, hey, there's a white in there. We also, fun fact, we didn't have any magic items, magic weapons at this point. So we may have had silver, but I don't think so. So I can't say anything. So I say, I detect evil. And Dan, in his things, because I wonder what I'm gonna.
And I think you had explained to me before, I think at some point that you treat it like the paladin, where it's actually levels of evil, right?
Yeah, it says in here that under detection of evil, running from minor to overpowered.
And you may have asked me that in the game. Well, what level of evil?
Right.
I'm like, what do you mean? What level?
That's right.
And we're flipping and turning.
And so you put moderate evil, and so everyone's like, oh, moderate evil.
Well, because I look up on the undead list.
Right.
What's the level, right? How high up is white? And white's saying to me, it's Midland.
That's right. So it's moderate evil.
I mean, it's not, it's not a lich.
It's not Demogorgon or Orcus. Right. Absolutely.
But it's worse than a skeleton.
But it's not. So, of course, moderate to us was, moderate. That can't be that bad. Let's go. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
But here's the problem is you guys weren't a moderate party.
Correct. Well, it was built on is it relative or the absolute scale?
Right.
So
I think it's absolute.
You use the absolute scale.
Yeah, you're right. Relative would be like, hey, a lot worse than us.
Right.
So.
Well, the relative moderate for us would be like a zombie or a ghoul.
Right.
Ghoul would be, scary, something we should be watched out, but we could probably take them. A white, especially, and with the context we didn't have magic items. So, all of us are basically almost trying to grapple this white because we have, I think one guy had a dagger, magic dagger. So we're all taking turns trying to pass
the dagger. Over here. You're tossing it behind him. I got over there.
So Lane's character, who was 1/1, gets drained. And so the question then, what happens in that case?
Right, because usually if you're level 1, you go to
turn
0.
level 0.
And we had that happen to some characters because they opened up the shop.
The paladin and the... That's why
it was like somebody
we all got drained.
You were like, what you...
Touch was the cleric, and the I forgot the paladin.
You went and you opened up the...
we took over the shop for someone else. That's right, because we were level 0.
Right. And so the question is, if you go 1/0, so what happens when you're multi-class?
Right.
And you level... Where are you?
So we're on page 119
of the DMG. Okay. Energy drain. All right. I'll let you handle this one.
So first it says, the reason we brought this up is if this brings the character below first level experience, then the individual 0 level person never capable of gaining experience again. So that's the bad part with this. So you have a first level fighter, as soon as they're 0 level, that's it. They cannot continue, which is why the paladin had to retire. If you read that now,
and you're done forever.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
Never capable of gaining experience again.
That's in the DMG, of course, because Gary's like, I'm sick because people were saying, okay, I'm starting anew, and Gary's like, no. Right.
Right, and it also says here, this back to the rule, in order to allow for the possibility of loss of hit dice due to energy level draining, you might require that players record the score of each die roll for their characters so that when a level is lost, the appropriate number of hit points also can be lost and known
Perfect.
immediately.
There it is. So there it is. So that is by the book.
But it says may. It should be you should, because if it's may, that could work out to your advantage or disadvantage. So for instance, some would argue, let's say I rolled 1 on my hit points, right? But I'm not keeping track of it.
Yeah.
I may be worth to take a drain, and then when I go up a level again, unless I'm gonna have to write it down. I may roll later and get us, what I roll.
Right? No, absolutely. No,
Give it
that
3,
would be
that's
wrong.
better.
You'd have to.
Yeah,
Right?
you have to keep track.
Well, that's the first sentence. It says you lose the hit points equal to those gained with the acquisition of the former, including the bonus for con.
Right. So now it says, here's what we're talking: multiclass. A multiclass character, a character with 2 classes, who is drained. I don't know why they put that there. Who is drained, I guess that's for dual class potentially, who is drained of an experience level, always loses the highest level he or she has gained. If all levels are equal, the highest level of the class which requires the greatest amount of experience is lost. If a multi-class character is struck by a creature who drains 2 levels, aka Spectre, a level is drained in each class. So the question was, in the scenario of the fighter, he was a fighter cleric or a cleric something. He was a fighter cleric. He was something like that. He got drained. Well, now he's a 0-1 because he didn't get drained in both levels.
Right.
Could he become level 1 again in that? Because the first rule above it was once you become 0 level, you can't be drained. I mean, you can't gain levels anymore.
Right.
So the question was, as long as he's a level in something, could he continue to earn levels, or was he now screwed?
And there's no answer. I mean, right? By the book, there's no answer.
There's no, unless it was adjudicated some other place, there was no answer for it.
Right. I was nice. I mean, I think that I allowed
him to come back.
He had to gain a certain amount of experience points.
Right. He basically was 0 again.
I think,
which makes multi-class so much better than a single class, because if you're single class, the rule is very clear. You get nothing.
Oh, that's right. I think what I would do is I would make it that you can't. You're done for that class,
right.
Because that's the 0 is sort of, if you can never come back,
right.
Then it would seem to make sense that you can never come back as that class if you're multi-class,
right?
And now you run the risk of becoming a 0 in the other one,
right?
Because otherwise, the only way then.
So this is the new Dan, the nice Dan when you're building.
Trying to build a group.
Right, I know that's been an excuse for.
I allowed no level limits.
If there was the Nuremberg trials of DMing,
I was trying to start a group.
This would be your excuse for all the sins of that.
Isn't it true that you allowed a dwarf paladin? I was trying to start a group.
Right, that's right.
Half ogre,
half
elf ranger, trying to start a group. Right?
You have no conscience, sir.
You allowed a 0, right? You're right. Have you no conscience? I was trying to start a group, and then I gave it to James, and I started my own, and I was a hard ass.
Unlimited levels.
Unlimited levels.
No level limits.
Right. Poison. We allowed Nick's character, who was bitten by a spider.
Yeah.
We allowed him to use some sort of, that was Ed, but that's fine. I had no problem with that. To use some sort of ointment, leafy ointment you found, right?
Do you see the tear?
Oh, he is.
It's like the Indian back in the. He sees.
You know what he's saying to me? Yeah. You were not playing 1E. I don't know what game you were playing, but it was not first edition Dungeons and Dragons.
The horror of it. So you would rule that, and I would agree with that.
Yeah, you're done at that class, because otherwise, the only way for you to go out of the game is to have a energy to 2 levels. What do you need? What's 2 levels? What'll do 2 levels?
Spectre and Vampire.
So you would have to be hit by a Spectre Vampire. So in other words, you're like, oh yeah, let's go. White, no problem. I'm not going to be out of the game.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas everyone else is freaking out. They may have to do the open up the shop or whatever.
Right. I would agree now. If what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
But you're out.
And then now the second part to that is, let's say you decide, okay, great. I'm a first level fighter, first level magic user. I'm going to, I decide I'm not going to be a fighter anymore. I'm a 0 level fighter, first level magic. Do you still divide your hit points in 2, even though you can't go up as a fighter?
Oh, that'd be awful. It's like appended to you, but dead?
Yeah.
No, I would not do that.
See, you're still nice. Because
that would be awful.
The argument is you've met your level limits.
Oh my gosh. So but you're like 0. What are you? I'm a 4th level fighter, 0 level magic user. Why do you keep saying you're a 0 level magic user? Let me explain about my jerk DM.
That's right.
Ask him.
That's right. And I'm losing half the hit points.
Oh, that's awful.
To me, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's basically a death sentence when you do a level drain on the other thing. So that's funny.
So that's the benefit, is you should be happy you're still adventuring. Don't complain.
Yes.
All right. Okay, are we moving on to dual class?
Yeah, so I think that's it for, I'm trying to look at the chat, because our production goblin, apparently he has a union break or something. He just took off. So
Right.
poor David, he's
still awake?
Yeah, he's going for it.
Impressive.
So I'm just looking over it. Yep.
Yeah.
Glade had 3 hit points. That's right, he did. I'm just looking over a couple of things real quick. All right, yep. He's talking about he'd round the levels to the hit points. Yeah, so if you didn't know, you take an average. Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, David. So the
dual class.
Dual class. So
the human multi-class, right?
To me, this I said this last time. I'm not a fan of dual class.
What page are we on?
Page 33.
I'm not a big fan either. I don't remember anyone doing it.
They would do it occasionally. So you know, obviously, I'm very curious if we ever talk to like Jim or these people, people from back in the day. You know what? Because again, Gary's been known he wanted to be a human-centric thing, but then all these advantages for demi-humans was this kind of throwing a bone at human class. So but you could be dual class. It's
right.
So in dual class, page 33. Unlike multi-class who are non or semi-human, back to the semi-human, the character must be human. To attain the second class, the character must switch his or her profession at some point. And thereafter, no original progression in the original class possible. So the idea is, you start as a thief or something, you go up a number of levels, and then you decide you're going to become a fighter. You cannot progress in thief anymore. You start your career as a fighter, and you continue on going forward. And then at some point, you're able to use both of those abilities. So
you're basically kind of changing jobs. You've been an accountant for 10 years.
Right.
You're like, I want to go to law school.
Right.
Okay.
You've done that. So
no, the requirements are tough.
Massive.
Yeah, I had not ever remembered this.
Right.
So you have to have an ability score of 15 or more in the principal attribute of your original class, and a 17 or 18 in the principal attributes of the class changed to. So you got to have your eye on the ball. Right. So you need to be
like the bard we talked about last week. You have to know what you're planning ahead.
You're like one of those kids that like when I was 12, I knew I wanted to be a cleric paladin.
Right.
And I'm like, how do I become a cleric paladin? So you got to know. So when you're putting your attribute scores in there, you want to be thinking about this. So if you get so I guess here's the good news. If you want to be a human and you got a 15 and you got a 17 or an 18, you want to think about, hold out the possibility, right? Just, you know, think about, you may want to dual class. So what you may want to do then is you may want to put that 15 and that 17, 18 in 2 principal attributes where you think would be just to hold it out there, right? Right. But what the tough side is that the 17 or 18 has to go in the one you're not currently.
Right.
That's rough.
Right. So you could, and the fact that if you're rolling 46 straight, which is the way we do it, the chance of you having more than 1 or 2 good scores is slim.
Right.
So in that scenario, you know, if you had a 17 and a 15 and you wanted to become a thief magic user, as some of our folks are talking about, you'd have to put the 15 in dex and you have to put the 17 in intelligence.
And you have to wait. Now, but so you can now be all these combinations that we think are awesome.
Right. You can be pretty much any.
You could be illusionist assassin.
Absolutely.
As a human.
Right. You could be assassin, illusion. You could be anything but a paladin druid.
Oh, because of the alignment.
Or druid assassin or assassin paladin or something like that.
Right. What happens if you have an alignment change?
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Right. Or like, isn't there a helm of alignment change? You stick it on your head.
That would be sad. Alignment change is bad no matter what.
But could it be good? So in other words, if I was, so let's say that let's say the druid ranger. So let's say that I'm a ranger, and I put on a helmet.
You can't be a druid ranger.
Well, wait a second. No, hang on a second. Okay, I put on a helmet of alignment change, and I become neutral. Do I lose being a ranger?
Well, alignment change doesn't work that way.
Oh,
alignment change makes you diametrically opposite of what you are.
Oh, it's not just, so it's not like I find a helmet that just makes, it's not like a neutral helmet.
Well, per the original
there's got to be something out there though that can take my alignment change.
Unless it's a helm of random alignment, then that would be.
So let's say my DM has a helm of random alignment.
Yeah.
You know someone out there has that. You stick it on there and you roll right?
Yeah,
a
typically
D8, and it's something other than what you
the
are.
old school, the version. It's because it's not a helm of alignment. It's helm of opposite alignment.
Got it. Can I be so if I there's got to be ways for there's probably got to be multiple ways for alignment to change, isn't there?
Well, there's powerful like deity things or.
That's right. Your deity comes.
You're the DM. You can do whatever you want. I mean, you could say D10. This is your new alignment. Or
so can I be a druid? Right. So can I still be a ranger? If I let's say I change, and now I'm neutral, can I like switch over to okay, fine, I'm going to do a class, and I'm going to.
Well, the problem with rangers, you have to be good. As soon as you're not a ranger, as soon as you're not good, you're not a ranger anymore. You're a fighter.
Okay. All right.
The question, I think, the better question is, and we talked about this with assassins, because there's a lot of our people out there who think, hey, assassin, I know they're supposed to be evil, but you heard both Vic and David like, yeah, what about the lawful good assassin? The James Bond or whatever,
right?
Lawful
Born.
Neutral. Yeah, they're not really evil, even though killing, because they're not killing for money. That's the idea. They're assassins, but they're not killing, even though they get paid, but they're not doing it. Their primary motivation is not killing for money. Their primary motivation is king and queen and country or whatever the case may be. So if you allow that, then you could get into some interesting, paladin assassin. If you're going to allow lawful good, paladin assassin.
Oh, you're liking this. Look at you. You're excited. Yeah,
that would be
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, but it does say alignments will preclude some combinations. What is interesting is that you have to have a 17 or 18 in the principal attribute or attributes. Right. So, what are the principal attributes of let's say I want to become a ranger?
Well, that's one of the things that the August Chamberlain's talking about, that some don't have primary attributes. So you just have to meet the minimum. You don't have to have a primary. So, for instance...
Oh, so I didn't know if I have to reach all of them. Like the ranger's got several, right?
Right, but it's talking about primary attribute.
Okay, so the ranger, there is no primary.
Well, that's a way around it. I'm sure there'll be some DMs.
Well, illusionists don't have a primary attribute because it's both intelligence and dex.
Right. Well, but here it says attributes.
That's right. So what would be 2?
Well, if
cleric, fighter, magic, or thief are obviously all 1. Then wouldn't that mean, if it says attributes, doesn't that suggest that for the ranger or the paladin or the druid, you have to have all of them?
I would rule it that way because I hate dual class.
Because you'll never get it then.
Right. Yeah, you have to have. Well, you'd be fudging rolls. You have to have.
You rolled it when no one was around. Is what you're saying?
That's right. You just kept rolling till you get it. 5 hours later, you just.
Eventually, I'm gonna roll up 1 billion characters.
Right. If you follow what some of the folks are, if you ignore the attributes thing, and that really it's a print, because the principle is what it's talking about, the prime attribute, the prime requisite versus multiple attributes.
But I know, but no one has prime attributes.
Right.
Right?
Right. So, and it says principal attributes. I think the intent is that, but again, and I hate dual class, so I would make it as tough as possible because I think they're stupid. But if you wanted to allow it, then you could be a little more liberal and say that only the principal attributes would be that.
Yeah, so that's confusing right off the bat. Okay.
Well, it's like a lot of things. You could help if you wanted people to have it. Then you could say only the prime classes like thief, magic user, fighter have prime things, and they don't.
Okay. So I can switch at any time though. Is that right?
Right. And so then that leads into, you could also say that you could prevent some of the subclasses by doing it that way. But it really comes down to what are you trying to accomplish as a D thing. To me, that's not the biggest issue with them. But let's keep going.
Okay. And let me just mention,
it's restrictive. No matter what, it could be very problematic.
Well, and some of these are quite cool. Like I think the idea of a cleric paladin,
right,
is pretty cool.
Yeah,
that would make sense to me.
Right, that you were a cleric, or maybe initially, or maybe you were a paladin first, and you realized, fighting's interesting, but I really want to be, I don't want to be the instrument of deity. I want to, I put away my holy zealot fighting, and I want to be more of a, person of the cloth, or whatever you want to talk about. So, that would be super cool.
Okay, so all right, so I can switch at any time.
Yes.
I keep my old hit dice. Thank God. But all other functions of the character now at first level for the new one, of course. I mean, I retain. Right. I retain my level for the other one, of course. Right.
But here's the problem: until you achieve a level higher than the previous level, you cannot use any of the skills that you attained
of the prior level.
Correct.
That's terrible.
Right. So the higher up you go,
the
longer it's going to take for you to So if you become a 5th level magic user and then you decide or become a 5th level fighter, and then you decide you want to be a magic user, that when you're a first level magic user, you're just a first level magic user. The only advantage you have is you have the hit points.
So really what you need to do, so let's say no one wants to be the cleric, and you're like, look.
All right, I'll be the cleric.
But for only 2 levels.
That's right.
So I'll get the, or whatever, Cure Serious. I'll go up to like whatever I can.
Well, Cure Serious is 7th level.
Oh, what's critical?
9th level.
Oh, all right, whatever. I'll get Cure Light Wounds.
Right.
Fine. But I'm only going up 2 levels.
Yeah.
And then I'm switching over to Paladin.
Right.
All right, so...
Then you have to wait. Then you're a first level Paladin until you exceed that. Then you get, at the time, because it says...
And I can't use my Clerical until, I can't use the other one?
You can't do any of that. If you do, you forfeit, you get no experience points for that adventure.
Okay.
Having switched classes, the character must perform strictly within the parameters of his or her new profession.
Okay.
Reversion to the former class negates all experience potential for the new class with respect to the course of the recent activities. So basically, for that adventure, if I was to your point, I was a cleric paladin, I just became a first level paladin, and I lay on hands and you're like, oh, I'm dying, I really could use some more help, and I can't do it. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Can't help
I'd like to help, but I can't.
There's your last rites.
Can I pray for you, lady?
I can pray for you.
I can pray for you.
I think I can pray.
Anyone can do that.
Assuming it's the same deity, that would be awkward.
Anyone can, yeah.
I'm a clerik for this deity, but I'm a paladin for this deity.
Yeah, that would be a little,
because you could be schizophrenic. That would be amazing. But anyway.
I don't know if you guys ever knew this, but Jason, who I think is playing a dwarf in the game. Do you remember Jason when he wanted to become the tree or whatever? He was schizophrenic.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
He had multiple personalities.
Nice. I loved it. That was good. I was a kleptomaniac. That was a lot of fun.
And he thought he was a dwarven paladin.
Oh, really?
That's what his other that's what he wanted to be. I don't know if it ever really came out because I think he basically turned into a tree shortly thereafter.
That pretty much, unfortunately, all the way most players play, and I'm as guilty. They play insanity as basically a death sentence, and eventually they just keep doing things to get themselves killed.
Actually, I think he wasn't a druid, and so he really wanted to become a tree.
Yes, when he was in that state. We never knew he wanted to be a dwarf.
That may have been a different character. I'm confusing characters. Okay.
So anyway, that's a big negative. The only advantage is you have the hit points of it. So typically, people try to be the skill that they just want some bump up in power, like fighter.
Right.
You put a couple levels in fighter, you get a lot of hit points, and then you switch over to magic user so that you get...
Right.
You have that extra hit points, and you're not going to die right away.
I got it. Yeah. So basically, it's like, hey, I'd like to have a couple levels of experience of cleric or magic user, fight or whatever, and then I'm off to what I really want to do.
Right.
Okay.
So we keep going, and then at some time you exceed. Now you get everything. You get the hit dice to the new class, but again, you start at the previous one. It says the hit dice appropriate to the new class is gained for each level and experience up to the maximum normal for the class in question, and the character may mix functions freely and still gain experience, although weapons, armor, shield is with regards to operations, particularly one or both classes. So they give an example here. A character with a strength 15, 17, 12, 10, 16, 7 in the normal order begins as a fighter. After attaining 6 level, the player switches to the character of magic user, so which makes sense. So primary thing was strength of 15, intelligence 17. This allows the character to retain 6 10-sided dice, but in all other ways, first level magic user. So again, that's huge. I'm a first level magic user. I have 70 hit points or whatever that is. Right. That's a pretty good deal.
Right.
And then when it's 7th level is gained,
keep going. Sorry.
7th level is gained. He gets a 4-sided dice in magic user, and that he can wear armor. He can carry, but not wear armor and weapons not normally used by magic users, and resort to them if the need arises, not be penalized.
So I'm not going to be getting any more hit points though until I hit the level
above it, and assuming the class that you go into has hit dice that you get.
Wait, what does that mean?
So let's say, for argument's sake, so for instance, let me look at a character that doesn't get any more. The druid, right?
I see.
If you became the druid, you may never go up high enough levels of it. Or where's the monk? Something where they don't gain any more hit dice.
I gotcha.
You may just get a point of hit point or 2 points of hit point, not a hit dice. You have to exceed the hit point.
Right, because unlike fight or magic, certain things have limits for anybody on how high level you can go. I gotcha.
Yeah. So that's The idea is then you still have the restriction, but if you know you're going to combat, you can use weapons and things without that. But then the question comes: if you're casting spells, is it good enough just to sheath your sword and cast spells, or do you have to drop your sword? I would just argue they have to sheath their sword.
Oh, and you can't be armor clad though. This does not. The last sentence says this does not allow spell use while armor clad.
Right.
Such as an elven fighter magic user. Oh, so that's not good.
Right. Well, but you're hoping by then you have bracers and ring of protection. That's the idea.
Right.
You're
right. Yeah, you're pretty high up then. So,
right.
Yeah.
You'd hope you have something equivalent to that. But yes, you could not use that and cast spells. So then the questions become, okay, I'm a fighter, I'm a 6th level fighter, now I'm a 7th level magic user. I can't cast spells, but can I use a wand of fireballs?
Oh. It doesn't answer that?
No.
Well.
Or a scroll.
Why couldn't I can cast spells?
Well, it says if I'm wearing plate mail, and let's say I'm wearing plate mail.
Oh, I see.
I can't cast spells, but can I use a wand of fireballs?
I would say yes.
Right. That's what I would say. So that's still pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Even though you can't
it just says does not allow armor clad. It doesn't say anything else.
Right. So I could still use my wand to fight. I could use my staff of the Magi while I'm full in plate mail.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Okay, I get it. So was that what Gandalf was? He must have been. Wasn't he wielding a sword?
He had a sword. Yep. He had a fighter.
So do you think he was dual classed? Because he's human.
It would make
well,
more
he's sort of human.
Well,
he's human-y.
Yeah, he's a well. That's your purview. As far as I know, I thought he was like what's the name of the angels they called their Aegers or something.
Yeah,
like that.
he was something. But
like
assuming he was human, then he must have been multi-classed. I mean, dual class.
That's right. My big issue is again huge restriction that you basically spend all this time and now you're a 1st level whatever. And you can't do a whole lot. You're an XP sponge. Because, if the rest of the party is 6th level and you're 1st level, you're not doing a whole lot. You're not helping the party.
Right.
You're just a sponge.
Right.
And if you're in a thing where it's a hassle to get back, that's also...
Yeah, you're just like, give me experience.
Right. I'm just here to suck up experience.
Exactly.
And items. It's...
Right. I'll be useful. You're playing the long game.
Right. Which goes back to you better have a campaign that you're going to be playing for a long time.
Can you be a monk bard?
Why not? As long as the restrictions.
Right.
As long as you can do.
So I can be a paladin monk.
Why not?
So that's the thing is you can be odd stuff that you otherwise couldn't be. You could be as long as there's no alignment restriction.
Right.
Well, because I could be lawful good paladin monk. Right.
Right.
Okay.
If it's lawful good, absolutely. There's really no restriction as long as there's no alignment. The only restriction is alignment.
Right. I couldn't be an assassin. The druid's gonna be the tough one. Gotta be neutral.
Or paladin, or assassin. Any of those.
All right.
Diametrically opposed. Either the druid with anything that requires, like, druid assassin would not happen because one's evil, one's neutral. Cleric druid. Paladin druid, ranger druid because they have to be good. Ranger assassin can't be. Wait,
so what about restrictions? So how do you do with the what about the weapon restriction? So that doesn't apply? And so I'm a monk. I'm a monk paladin.
Right.
What can I...
Well, as your paladin, you do whatever. When you become a monk, you can only use the monk things. When you go past it, I would argue, in order to take advantage of the monk armor class and the multiple attacks, you can't be in armor.
Oh, that's not talked about, though, is it?
Well, it talks about that the restrictions are the most restricted thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. This allows the character to change 6, but in all other respects, he or she must be a 1st level magic user, wearing no armor. When 7th is suspended, however, the character gets forced on a die, and he or she can sustain. The character can now carry, but not wear, armor and weapons not normally usable by magic users.
Right.
But it's only talking about the example. I know it's on the example.
Well, but the restriction is magic users can't wear armor and use weapons. So the idea is, if I'm casting spells, I can't use that stuff. So if I'm a monk, I normally can't wear armor and weapons like that. But if I choose, so in other words, what I couldn't do is let's say I'm a 5th level paladin, I become a 7th level monk, right, or 6th level monk. The monk gets multiple attacks, but that's only with the open hand. They're not going to get multiple attacks with the sword.
Sure.
They're going to get whatever. And the movement at a 7th level monk moves at 21. Well, you're not moving 21 if you're wearing plate mail.
Right. So in other words, the restrictions, you would apply the restrictions based upon when you're engaging in functions of that class.
That's right.
Got it.
That's what I would do.
Well, and that makes sense because the example talks about you can't wear armor and cast spells, so that would strongly suggest that. Okay.
And where there's no limit to it or some challenges to it, then I would allow it to happen. You know, like they're thieving. They would not be able to, you could argue for, let's say, that again, going back to this paladin monk, falling down walls. Is that part of it? Is there, you know, if they're on plate mail, is that going to be as effective, or even they can do that? I would say no.
Oh yeah, and it's, number 2 there says, right, the character may mix functions freely and still gain experience, although restrictions regarding armor, shield, and or weapon apply with regard to operations particular to one or both classes.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, right, restrictions, right.
To me, it's
operations particular.
Yeah. The logic is, and I think it's somewhat consistent, is that if there's a clear affinity to the skill with something, like the thieving, climbing walls, picking pockets, that's due to, you have to be fairly unencumbered to do that.
Right.
That's why you can't. That's why you have to wear leather. It's not because leather's some magical thieving thing. It's because you're trying to prevent that from happening. So the problem I have with dual class is it doesn't make sense. The idea is you've done some apprenticeship when you become a fighter or a thief. You don't just show up and poof, you're first level. In dual class, you're basically, of all the races, humans have one of the lowest lifespans. They're going to go, to your point, if I was an accountant and I want to be a lawyer, I don't just show up at the practice and go, okay, I'm a first level lawyer.
Right.
I got to go to law school.
Right.
And I got a clerk and I got to do all the intern. And that's 3 or 4 years. That doesn't talk about here. Here it just says, I stop doing this and I start up. And in the reality should be, unless I did some training beforehand, you should go off and have to do that for a year or 2 or whatever. And
I'll be back.
And I'll be back. So how does that work? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, and you're really playing the long game. You need somebody who really is your character class is going to rise high in level. So all right. Yeah, I don't, it is what it is. I mean, if someone wants to do it, they can do it. I mean, they're the rules. No problem with them doing it. It's not something I'm particularly interested in doing.
Right.
Maybe cleric paladin. I think it's pretty cool. I might be cleric paladin. I think about doing a couple levels of cleric, and then become a paladin. But that's it. It's like these joint degrees, JD MBA or JD MD. You gotta be pretty focused and playing the long game.
Right. Exactly. All right. Well, very good. I don't think we have, and the thing with at least it's inferred here, that you can only do 2 class maximum. Yeah, exactly. You have to figure all this out. So this again, working with your, what our people on the chat are saying is, if you're going to have someone that's just like Bard, like Psionics, if someone's going to think about this, you need to be prepared for that.
Right.
Now, what I was finishing with is that the dual class, it's 2 classes. It doesn't mention 3 classes that you could go from.
Oh.
The only one where there's a triple class is the Bard. That's the only exception of it. You go from a fighter to a thief and then to some kind of pseudo Bard, druid. But
can my second class be Bard?
Why not?
So I could do.
That's just, I'm sure someone's done it before. Some insanity.
So I that gets confusing.
Sure.
It'd take forever.
Right. You'd have double fighter.
And when do I start? At what level do I start becoming an actual Bard? I mean, because I got to hit the level, but I've got like all these levels, right? So if I'm already a 4th level magic user,
right? So let's use that example.
What? When do I become?
Is that the grog line?
I don't think that's the grog line.
Someone going, please stop talking, making these scenarios. Yes, right. So in your scenario, you're a 4th level magic user. Then you decide you're going to become a Bard, which means you're starting as a fighter up to 5th level. Do you allow at that point the magic user skills to do that?
Right. Or do you have to wait for all of them?
Then it gets better.
Or Bard.
Then you become a thief, 1st level. Can you still use the magic user?
No.
Or do you stop using that?
You got to be 5th level Bard.
Right. You forgot how to cast spells by the time that comes up. It's been so long. You're like, what? I forgot how this works. Because you went
read magic. I don't know.
I can't do any of that.
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to wait.
You got to go back to school.
Wow, that would take forever.
Because by then you're venerable.
Right. Yeah.
You're probably got to roll for whether you die of old age.
Yeah. And that's why I don't. That's the same problem I have with the Bard as defined in first edition. The same thing I have with dual class. It makes no sense that you're a fighter and then today, tomorrow you're a thief and you're picking pockets at 40%.
A party should consist of 4 members, and you should have a thief, you should have a magic user.
That's right.
You should have a fighter and a cleric.
That's right. So it shall be written, so it shall be done. Excellent. Okay. I think we've said enough about that. Let's talk about our suggestion. Didn't we have a suggestion?
You said that I had a suggestion, but I forgot what the suggestion was that you said.
It's pretty sad.
That I should have.
Well, we were going to talk about. Were you going to do that?
I don't think we have time for this, right?
Okay.
We don't have time for this. We want to do this next time?
Yeah, let's do it next time.
Yeah. So
our suggestion is you should look this up because we're going to talk.
They're very hard to find.
Okay. Well.
I may have bought the last one.
I love it.
This is my suggestion, something you can't find. This is first in, that is perfect for myself. I'm going to suggest something that's very hard to find.
And expensive.
First Encounter magazine, which was a magazine out of Canada back in the early 80s. And Kelly Villamere, who also wrote Lair of Medusa,
right, which we've talked about.
And he's going to be on the show in late January talking about the module. And we're going to ask him about First Encounter magazine. And First Encounter magazine has something in here. The reason why I got this one is they have a little segment that they ran, which was to test you on your knowledge of character classes.
Oh, okay.
And what you do is you go through and you have certain questions like, how would you handle this? If you were a fighter illusionist.
Right, which is your favorite.
Exactly. Because this is, have you ever played a gnome fighter illusionist trying to save your village? And so it gives you a bunch of answer choices, and you pick it, and then it tells you what happened. You died, you lived.
Which is great, because was playing John's campaign, a fighter illusionist. So I look forward to seeing that.
So we'll see how you do. So maybe we can start that, and we can do maybe one each time.
Perfect.
So we'll start that next time. Because,
that's a good suggestion.
Yes, and somebody colored.
It was like a coloring book. They thought it was a coloring book.
Some dad was really angry.
That's right.
He walks in, and the kid is colored.
The cloak.
And this actually, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name. This is Eric Hotz, maybe Hotz. He's a very well-known fantasy artist, apparently, and he did these covers. And so I can't wait to ask Kelly about how he got to know him, because, so sometimes dad comes home and the kid
has colored some of it.
Has colored in the Eric Hotz.
Apparently there, it looks like almost like this line here was probably he was coloring, and this is where the dad struck him.
Yes. Exactly, and it went on the ear, because you notice the ear is there. He was going up like this, and he comes from behind him. He does the backstab
with the club.
It's the kid, and it gets the ear. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, why are you ruining that thing? That's wonderful.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's a good bugbear, I think. I like that.
I like that. Yeah. And Canada's Coast to Coast Fantasy and Gaming Magazine.
Exactly. So so we'll start that next time. So you definitely will want to tune in.
Yeah, that would be very good.
Next time.
Well, and just FYI, we may do next week's game on Sunday, our show on Sunday. So just FYI for those people, we may do a little bit later. So
and that's our holiday.
That's going to be our holiday.
We're getting
and I feel bad because
don't feel bad at all.
I felt like Dan usually does all the accoutrements and all the decorations, so I started it. And I thought he was pretty happy that I at least started the process.
Absolutely, we got it. So it's very festive, and we'll have more stuff next time for our holiday show.
We'll be buried in festive things. That's right.
Wonderful.
All right, so let's do a D10.
All right.
Let's find the D10. Is
that the D10?
That's the D10. Yes.
All right. Let's see. What did you think about today's show?
It was okay.
I thought it was pretty good. I actually kind of liked it.
Yeah,
I thought it was informative for me.
It was. There was actually some good things.
Which means this will be a very low roll.
4. See? That's a little below average. That's okay.
That's 4.
That's not terrible.
No.
I think the challenge for me was we didn't have as much people. I know I've gotten so used to monitoring the chat, with the production goblin, I was almost didn't feel like I was interacting as much with folks. So we may have to fire the production.
Yeah, he just didn't come
back. And then he just left. He didn't say
he just
was
walked
leaving,
out and
just left.
He never came back.
So
it's hard to find good help. Well, how much are you paying?
Nothing.
Rent. Free rent.
Someone asked, because Christmas, my brother just real quick asked what gift ideas for my son. I said an apartment. That's what I'd like, is to get him an apartment. That would be great. So we're on YouTube. We're on Twitter at GROGTALK. The website is grogcon.com, Google Play, iTunes. We're on iHeartRadio, a bunch of other places. Please review, like, and subscribe. We are definitely climbing there. And again, it's less of an ego thing. It's more of, hey, we think we're having fun. We like the community. We love people chatting throughout the world. We appreciate what everything.
Yeah, because if it's time for us to shut down, let us know.
That's right. Let us know. Yeah,
that's fine.
But it's like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
I got these chairs, and I would give you the chair. That would be the kind of. How do you like the chair? It's pretty good.
This is very nice.
Better than what we had. Better than the little
very nice
seats there. So we've got future guests coming. We've got a lot of things stokes in the fire. I want to thank some folks on Twitter who are helping us, and when they get landed, we would certainly like to have them on there. Really appreciate the support and the ideas. If you have ideas, info@grogcon.com.
If you have and guests that you want us to try to get on the show, because people are doing that now for us, we really appreciate.
Absolutely.
They're grabbing guests for us and helping us with that. So if there's people out there that you really would like us to try to rope in, let us know.
Yeah, and we really, to me, that's half the fun, is because there's so much history that I did not know about growing up that I'm learning now after the fact. I wasn't plugged in.
Can you believe now we learn about Dave Arneson, and he was in Orlando all those years.
Right. Yeah.
We could have Dave Arneson sitting here doing the show with us.
That would be awesome. In fact, we need to get a picture of Dave Arneson.
I think that's right. There's a guy X on that side. We should put Arneson over here.
Like the Mount Rushmore of
exactly
of this. So yeah, in a couple of weeks we're doing that. We're doing Dave Arneson Day, and so actually after we get off, we're going to talk about that, and hopefully next week we'll have some more information. So for Grog Talk, I'm James.
I'm Dan.
And we will see you next week on Grog Talk.